He's like, no, Elijah, it wasn't me.
When you have to Google something to put it up, will you be able to Google and put it on the screen? What? Okay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath day, y'all. As we get about our Abba's business, we're going to get right to it, y'all. We're going to get this prayer on. Wherever you at on planet Earth, turn toward holy Jerusalem, from whence our help cometh from.
All right, family. We're going to get this opening prayer. And it is with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior, and he's our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, family. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 125th chapter, it reads, "They that trust in the Most High shall be as Mount Zion,
Yes, sir.
which cannot be removed, but abideth forever.
Yes, sir.
As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Most High is round about his people from henceforth and forever.
Yes, sir.
For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. Do good, O Yahweh, unto those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts.
Yes, sir.
As for such as turn aside unto their crooked ways, the Most High shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity. But peace shall be upon Israel."
Yes, yes.
Hallelujah! Say it loud!
Yes, sir. Y'all, we're going to get right to it. Like I say, we got a few scripts to go over. Today's lesson, spiritual watching for the head fake. And y'all, what we mean by that is that the Antichrist and his system that's going to be set up is going to try to mirror the second coming of Messiah. So y'all, we got to watch for that head fake, because the head fake will get your ankles broke. If you recall anything of a head fake in basketball. But before we do that, just want to say shouts out again to and condolences, well wishes to any of our sick and shut in. Also our peeps over in the homeland. May the Most High still continue to bless y'all and keep y'all safe as the war continues over there surrounding y'all.
Yes, sir.
Also, like I say, our sick and shut in that we pray for every week. All of our supporters, we continue to thank y'all, you know, that our Urban Reeves and Sister Giles, all of y'all, thank y'all for all y'all support and help. Yo, so we ain't gonna belabor it because we got a few things to go over. But before we do anybody got any questions or concerns? What you got, sis?
Todd Shepherd.
Oh, no doubt, Todd Shepard praying for him.
Some cellmates that when he gets a chance to get out, that are really hungry for the spirit and the word of God.
Spreading that truth to him. Absolutely, that's a wonderful thing for, like you say, the free and the bond. You know, because something may have you get locked up, that don't mean you stop living and keeping the commandments.
Right.
Well, they'll keep you alive in there. But once again, do we got any questions or concerns before we get started, though, too bad? Okay, so today's lesson, like I say, once again, spiritually watching for the head fake. You know, because this is how the devil coming. The devil ain't coming where you could see him coming towards you. He's trying to mirror what you're supposed to keep, the commandments, by just showing you basically an outer cup type of doctrine that make you think because you see something shiny, it's the truth. Right. It must be the real deal. Itchy ear doctrine. So watch for the head fake. But before we get started, too, by if you will, Google head fake for me and put it up on the screen. So that everybody get an understanding. Y'all can't hear us back there? Okay, too bad ain't no way to hook that one up at all. I mean, if you can't, I mean, we'll get that one. I'm talking about yours right there. That little. Huh? What you mean a whole nother microphone? Which would be easier, that one or this one? Huh?
It won't even be the path out.
Unless we kick this AC on and turn that one off.
So it's the unit that's loud back to the AC unit?
Oh, is that what it is?
Well, hold on. Let's just see. If he could do this, we won't have to worry about it. Will we, too, by? I mean, where will it go? Will it go through that speaker?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll just do that. That's a quick fix, real quick, y'all. No, I mean, do you have to? Oh, what you got to do? What you got to do with that mic?
I gotta hook this up to that speaker and run this line.
Oh, the mic got to go through that? You got to? Oh, that's a whole lot of work, bro.
So what you want me to do?
I mean, can you just lay it on the ground? Why you got to do all them tripods? I mean, what can you do with the mic? I'm just saying, make it real simple to where it just pick up us, and you ain't got to set it up on there, because that speaker, you can just put it on the table. Anything you can do real quick. Just run a wire and just lay it on the table.
Yeah, it can be on, but I don't know how to hook it up all the way. Last time
Yeah, that was Zeb usually had that hooked up, so we'll just do a quick fix, on this right here.
Then I gotta put the batteries in that.
Yeah, so we gotta go through all that, but just real quickly if you can. No big deal with it. You ain't gotta have it all fancy and on the thing.
Take this.
Where that's going, that mic? Just
sit
sit it right here with me. Yeah, right here, right in the middle, right there. Just sit it on the table. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, here, I tell you what, put it up here. Yeah. Right here. Yeah, that way everybody can hear. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, he gonna plug them on in.
Now you gotta turn it on.
Okay.
You gotta hold one of the buttons. That very bottom button, you gotta hold it.
I gotta hold
Pop
it.
on right here.
Okay. Where you see the light at?
Right there.
Okay, there we go. You can hear that now.
But hold on, I got that.
Okay, leave right there. Yeah, I want to make sure they get on it too. Yeah. Yes, sir. Quick fix right in there, ain't it? Oh, hold on.
I had cut it back off once the horn was done. I give me a testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2.
Hold on, y'all. Still Bluetooth
Come on,
from my
sis.
speaker there. Hold on. From the phone. Say something now,
Testing 1 2 1 2. Check 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 check. Testing 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 testing.
Try it again.
Testing 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 testing. Test 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 test. Can you hear that though? Anything coming out of it?
I think my movie just got it down.
Test, 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 test. I ain't heard nothing come out of it yet. Test, 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 test.
Yeah, I just heard it blinking going ding, ding.
What?
It was going in and out.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing.
That's it. There it is.
Y'all can hear that? Testing, testing. Testing 1 2.
All
Everybody
right.
back there can hear that? This how much cord we got.
Well, look. Just stand it up.
It's current back.
Yeah,
It's kinda
yeah.
like right
Just move it over.
Yeah.
Check, 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 check. Is that coming? Is that loud as it get? Check, check,
It's
check.
louder than that.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be louder than that. That thing was just playing like music up loud. Oh, I guess that would help right there.
Testing, testing.
There you go. Yeah, I guess you can turn the volume up. Check 1. Yeah, yeah, there we go. Is that better back there, y'all? Okay. So, y'all, we're going to get right to it. Spiritually watching for the head fake. Too bad, if you will, go ahead and look up head fake. Yeah. Head fake. HEADFAKE.
It says head fake. In sports, an act of moving the head in such a way as to deceive an opponent as to one's intended direction or move.
So the head fake, the head fake causes one to move or to look at another direction because you think your opponent is going that way. They fake you out and go the other way, then they score on you. Y'all, we can't let the devil score on us like that with the head fake because it ain't no recovery. Not only you going to have broken ankles, you're going to have a broken tailbone too if he put that head fake on you. So y'all know how we get down our one and only high priest, Yeshua Mashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. He's our high priest after the order of Melchizedek. He brings forth the law to every male, female, rich, poor, free, bond, Jew, or Gentile. So what we want to do real quick is get the head fake uniform that we have to have on to prevent us from spiritually getting head fake. So if you will, hit that Ephesians 6 and 9 in there, y'all.
Sound right there.
Feedback is a little too loud.
Too loud? Okay.
Testing, testing. That's better. Right there.
Right there? Okay. So y'all understanding the spiritual head fake of the devil? Y'all, because what's happening is the reason we're doing this is with a lot of things going on today with the war going on, Iran and Israel, so to speak, the Israelis. Y'all, they're trying to make that setup or almost sound just like what we've been reading about the second coming of Christ. Because that's what they want to fool us with, that this is the second coming of Christ, what they're doing. So we're going to go over what's set up with those who call themselves Jews and or not. This is the whole deal, the promise of Abraham to Abraham's offspring. That's the whole promise of everything and his offspring. So there's a true descendant of offspring, and then there's the ones who's claiming to be the offspring. So y'all, we want to make sure we are dealing with the right group and not the imposters. But the imposters tell us who they are right to our face. We're just not paying attention. We keep looking at videos.
Right.
And we're not studying, and the videos are getting us caught up in the head fake. Like everybody right now, they want to make Trump the Antichrist. They want to make Iran ready to destroy America already. So y'all, we have to be extra careful that the head fake don't get in there and fake us out. So go ahead, let's get our head fake in uniform on to prevent us from being spiritually head fake, because our weapons of war are not carnal, and we're not dealing with carnal individuals. This is a spiritual matter, because it's about a spiritual covenant forever. What's the deal?
Trying to cut that hum down back there.
Well, can y'all hear us back there without us
Yeah.
having to play around with it?
They can hear
Was it, is it hitting off of that one? It may be too close to this one.
Got a noise that's going.
It may be too close to this one. See, what about now? Because you got two mics together.
You still kind of hear the hum a little bit.
Well, we're going to speak louder, y'all.
No, they can hear you.
Okay.
It's just that the hum was kind of bothersome.
Let's roll, y'all. Ephesians 6 and 9, y'all. We're wasting a lot of time.
All right, family. We're going to be reading in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6. We're going to start the reading in verse 9.
Yes, sir.
And it reads, "And ye masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven. Neither is there respect of persons with him.
Yes, sir.
Finally, my brethren,
Uh-huh.
be strong in the Most High."
Be what?
Be strong in the Most High.
Uh-huh.
And in the power of his might, put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Against the what?
The wiles of the devil.
So that means all of the tricks of the devil, y'all, we got to be able to stand up against them.
That's right.
And the only way you're going to be able to stand up against them is to have the right clothing on, the right spiritual clothing.
Right.
Go ahead. We're in Ephesians 6, verse 11, verse 12.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
So it's not like regular men that this war is taking place with, y'all. It's greater than that. Go ahead.
But against principalities,
Uh-huh.
against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
What kind of wickedness?
Spiritual wickedness.
Yes, sir.
Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yah,
Yeah.
that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth,
Yes, sir.
and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel
Yes,
of
sir.
peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked,
Uh-huh.
and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh.
Yeah.
Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit.
In the what?
In the Spirit.
Uh-huh.
And watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
So that's the armor we have to put on. And you also see this in Isaiah 59, 16 and 17. You'll see the Messiah has this same armor on that was prophesied. So he had it on in the Old Testament with the prophets. He's telling us it takes the same armor to deal with supernatural, because it was a supernatural deal that got Adam and Eve to sin to cause us to have this corruptible flesh that we have.
That's right.
So corruptible can't fix corruptible. So that's why the Messiah had to come with uncorruptible flesh to repair that breach in the garden. Y'all, this is going back to the garden. This event here that Satan caused trouble at the beginning of mankind up until now. So the Messiah had to come and fix all of that. But he made the promise to Abraham and his offspring. Now we got groups of people that are born from Abraham's seed, but they're claiming to be the inheritor of the promise of Abraham. He gave all of his children inheritance and gifts, but he only gave one of his children the promise of the resurrection. I mean, into everlasting life to govern the world, so to speak.
Right.
So y'all, we want to make sure we understand that we're dealing with the right group of people. So we're going to start when the covenant was given out. And then, because we got people in the land right now claiming that they are the Jews.
Right.
You know, but they're listening to a whole nother doctrine. And that whole other doctrine got people shook because of the war that's going on, and they're being misinformed of what the promise of Abraham is really about. They're going for the head fake, and a lot of people believe who's over there should be over there in the land. So what they've set up is things that look like they're coming out of the Bible, but they're their own man-made doctrines. Like, we finna get into the promise of Abraham, then they bring forth something called the Balfour Declaration. Y'all understand? God sets up one way, and then man sets up the other way. And they're claiming to be the rightful owners of the land with their own man-made documents. So we'll hit the Balfour Declaration, and then we'll go to when Abraham passing out the blessing. And then we'll go see Wikipedia what man says about their document called the Abraham Accord that they made up. Not what Genesis 17 is saying, but the one they made up. And then we'll go to Deuteronomy 28, what a blessing and curses for the true Israel, how they will go off into captivity, versus the man-made, made-up deal called the Holocaust. One was 400 years, one was just 4 years. But they're trying to make everybody look like this pain of 4 years is greater than what was in the Bible, or it equals to those scriptures that was given out. And then we'll do the final, which the Bible calls the great gathering. It don't call it no rapture or nothing like that. It say when the saints of Israel or the saints of who believe in the Most High are gathered together. Well, on the man-made side, they have something that they've put in place called the law of return. Well, their law of return has nothing to do with the Bible. Y'all understand what we're saying? So that's the head fake over here. And people are chasing that. They'll send you videos on YouTube about the head fake, and they're like, look at this, what's going on. You're like, why are you looking at that? Right. Just look at the Bible. Right. The Bible is telling you the truth. Don't keep looking at the head fake. So y'all, we're going to get clear on that today. So we'll start in Genesis 15 chapter, and we'll see what the Most High told Abraham, because we're going to get into a little bit too of Gog and Magog that's mentioned surrounding what's going on in this final war in Revelation 20. So we'll clear that up as well. Revelation 20, Ezekiel 38 and 39. And we'll see actually who does this promise belong to. And we'll discover the head fake here clear. So don't go for the head fake.
All right, family. We're going to be reading in the book of Genesis, chapter 15. And we're going to start the reading in verse 1.
Yes, sir.
This is also going well with, Ted Cruz tried to use this in saying that the Bible says to defend, those who defend Israel will be, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. But he was talking to Abraham. He wasn't talking to Israel yet.
Right. And the deal is, too, though, that where they try to sneak in the Bible, but it's the people that they're applying it to.
Right.
It's not fit. So they can say all they want, but the people still have to fit.
Right. Well,
And it has to fit prophecy.
Well, the
yes,
guy
sir.
that was interviewing him, he broke him down.
Did he break him down like?
He made him look real bad.
Let's get it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 15 and verse 1.
What it say?
After these things, the word of the Most High came unto Abram in a vision.
In a what?
In a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward.
That's what he told David too in the Psalms. I'm your shield.
Right.
There's no thing called the Star of David. There was never, David didn't ever deal with it. Solomon created that hexagram that they call the Star of David when he fell into wickedness and fell in, writing the grimoires. He was using that to play around with demons. So it's never been a shield of true Israel. The Most High has always been our shield and our protector. We didn't ever wear no Star of David. That was made up by men. And there's a certain group that wear that to try to claim that this is the shield that this Bible is speaking of. But let's read some more.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
And Abram said, Master Yahweh, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus.
Yes, sir.
And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
So this lets you know about servitude, that Eleazar, the servitude that when the Bible speaks of you'll have servants for 1,000 years, Abraham thought it was his servant. That's how loyal he was to Abraham. He was so loyal, Abraham trusted him with all the gold and things to go get Rebekah for Isaac for marriage. He trusted that he wasn't going to run off. So when you hear these camps out here talking about the enslavement going to happen just like it did in America, cutting off testicles and cutting heads off and stomping babies, that won't be done in the kingdom.
Right.
The servants you have will have the mindset of Eleazar. The book of Joel say for those wicked servants like that, they'll be sold to the Sabians. And the Sabians will handle that work. But that ain't going to be that going on in the kingdom of the Most High. That won't be happening. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
And behold, the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir,
Talking about Eleazar,
but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
So he's saying, look, because you're old, you're 90 years old, but you're going to have a son. It's going to come from you. So he's clear on that. He said, you don't have to guess anymore. This won't be a stepchild or anything. It'll be your true offspring that comes out of your loins at your age. So this is what he's explaining to Abraham. Go ahead, read a little bit more.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
So it's innumerable, the seed of Israel or the seed of Abraham will be innumerable. But he's talking about everything that comes out of the loin of Abraham. Not just one son, but all of them. Go ahead.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
And he believed in the Most High.
What did he do?
He believed in the Most High. And he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Most High, that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it.
Yes, sir.
And he said, Master Yahweh, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram.
Yes, sir.
And lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Now this is a prophecy. We know part of this prophecy happened in Egypt, ancient Egypt. For 400 years, the total was 430 years total that we spent in Egypt. But that's including all of Egypt or include the land of Ham. So there was 215 years that Abraham did in the land of Canaan, first starting off, because the 430 is including starting right here with Abraham, all the way going through Isaac and Jacob, through Egypt, until coming to the wilderness. That total was 430 years. Only 215 in Egypt was hard bondage. The other 215 is like we're here in America. We say they don't treat us right. Last hired, first fired, right? So we acknowledge that we're the tail here and they're the head. But it's the flip of the way it was in Egypt. So we got the hard bondage first. in this land. And we on the tail end like Abraham them was and Jacob them was in Canaan. The Hamites were still ruling everything. We was just their citizens. So just like we American citizens here, it's just flipped. We went into hard bondage first and then got released into this. Abraham then was in like we are right now first, and then they went into hard bondage in Egypt. So it just turned. But if we read Ezekiel 20 and 34, if you will, Elijah, just read a little bit of that for me. Ezekiel 20, 33. Because it says, this Exodus has to be exactly like the one in Egypt. And if that was 430 years total, then this one have to be 430 years total. And if we became 400 years, what was the year that they say we've been here 400 years? 2019? What they say, 2020? 1619 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We've been here 400 years. No, 1619, I guess when they say it started.
That's when they say it started.
2019, like they doing this Juneteenth and all this. They say we've been here 400 years, 2019. Because that would have to make us get here 2012 to be here, you know, for the 16th. But everybody's saying it technically took place in 1611, 1555 when we first arrived. Y'all heard them term. 1555 when we first arrived. Well, if you put 400 on 1600 years, that put us at 2020 or 2019. Well, if it's saying we had to do 430 years, you have to add 30 more years to 2019 or 2020, which gonna put us at 2048 or 2049 at the latest. Can it happen before then? But your mind have to be focused that it could go to 2048 if we go according to the scripture. Right. It has to mirror the other one. Read it, Elijah, so we get some understanding.
Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33.
What it say?
As I live, saith the Most High Elohim,
Yes, sir.
surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein you were scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Yes, sir.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
See, the wilderness of the people, we were only in one spot in ancient Egypt. Egypt was the only holding spot. Now we're scattered to the four corners of the earth. Right. So the wilderness we're in now is just, we're among all the nations that don't have the word. So all that bad doctrine out there, it's like we're living in a wilderness.
Right.
Bad doctrine all around. He said, I'm going to gather you this time from the four corners of the earth, not just one location.
That's right.
So we're in the wilderness of the people. We're in the wilderness now. We're battling through these nations like we did in that wilderness.
Yes.
We had to go through nations. We warred more in the wilderness than we did when we was in Egypt. Go ahead, what else to say?
And there will I plead with you face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
So he said, just like I did that, I'm going to do the same thing with y'all heard. And plead me, I'm going to hand out sentencing. Plead me, I'm not going to beg y'all to do right. That ain't the plea he talking about.
No.
Whenever somebody get a plea deal, they're agreeing to a sentencing for doing wrong. So he's going to plead with us and let us know, this is why y'all stuck in America. Right. This why it happened. I had to scatter y'all to the four corners. So this the plea deal. This what y'all going to get. This what y'all going to do. All plea deals are, you already been given a certain amount of reduced time, or so to speak, based on your acknowledgement of guilt. Right. Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 37. 36. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Most High Elohim. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
What are you going to bring us into?
The bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
So he's got to purge out still the rebels of Israel. It ain't just going to be a gathering. No, we're being purged. The rebels are being purged out now.
Just like in the wilderness.
Just like in the wilderness, people are falling off. People that were once on point, it becomes the tares and the wheat. That's right. So what's happening is we're getting a separation of all people on earth that understands the truth. And a lot of Israel, 2/3 of them going to fall. 1/3 going to get it together.
That's why he says in the last days there's going to be a great falling away.
A great falling away, yes sir. Because people are shook and scared. Everybody want this to be the end of this kingdom. But what is the day of the Lord to you? Are we truly ready for Christ to show up right now?
That's right.
Oh, boy, better be watching what you ask for. Are we guaranteed our heart is clean enough to dwell amongst him?
No.
Or our thoughts clean? Let's get some more.
Verse 38.
Yeah.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
Yeah.
And them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. And they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Most High. As for you, O house of Israel, thus saith the Most High Elohim, go ye, serve ye every one his idols, and hereafter also, if you will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts and with your idols. For in mine holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel, saith the Most High Elohim, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruits of your oblations with all your holy things.
So right here, what he said in Ezekiel, he told Abraham, this is what's going to happen at the second Exodus. Because it says, when he ran us out of Jerusalem again, we went back after we left Egypt. Then got cast out again to the Syrians. Then we came back again and built the temple again. Then we get cast out again in 70 AD. And we've been scattered ever since 70 AD. You had something, bro? Okay. So we've been cast out ever since then, wandering around to the four corners of the earth, y'all. So there's going to be another great gathering. All I wanted to just show that in the book of Exodus, and it said the total sojourning of Israel was 430 years. If we've been here 400 already, then we have to at least look at the other 30 years and say we may have to that time to go. So your mind have to be on what Christ was teaching us, the resurrection. Because you may not have 28 years left in you. Right. You may only have tomorrow.
Right.
Or tonight, because tomorrow ain't promised to you.
That's right.
So we have to keep focus on the resurrection. Yes, that time is right there, but at least we have a time slot. We know it ain't going 500 years, and it shouldn't go past 430 years, right. Well, which will put us, based on count time, 2048 or 2049, gonna be 430 years. So y'all think about that. So it may be our offspring, like them youngsters back there. You put 28 years on them, he ain't number 13 or 14. That put him right about 40 or so, right. That he may witness the second coming of Messiah.
But what you also have to think about is now what you're getting is a lot of children, newborns, like these children here and under.
Yeah.
Or now we're starting to now have children that are coming back into the foundation of Elohim.
Yes, sir.
Not like us that came in our adult age.
Yeah.
Close to our death age.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? Now you have babies being born into the truth again and being raised on righteousness and true milk.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? So now the prophecies are coming back where he says in the last days the babies are going to prophesy and things of this nature. So now we're starting to see that upbringing of that new generation that's coming into the covenant. You know, not celebrating no pagan days, not eating swine, coming into the law of righteousness and being raised in that.
From the youth.
From youth, from birth.
Yes, sir. What you got, Sis?
That's why they have so much abortion and want to get rid of this next generation of people.
Absolutely. And just put that out there, period, because they want it for the whole world, because even if another nation come in, they want them to think the same way. Because look, all of Abraham's offspring, they were given the law. Just like the three boys that got off the ark, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Noah gave them all the commandments of God. He didn't give them no other doctrine. They switched to new doctrines later on down the line. The same as when we get into Abraham giving the doctrine to his sons and offspring. They then go on to create other doctrines because they didn't like who the inheritor was going to be.
Right.
It's like sibling rivalry. Well, I'm the firstborn, it should come to me. So we're going to see that though, y'all. Let's get caught up.
I caught a little snippet of a story on the news where they said recently they've done the study and the fertility rate has dropped dramatically in the United States in the past few years. So that's that population control and the stuff they put in your food and all of this other stuff that we ingest, but people aren't being born at the rate that they used to do.
Well, and see what's dropping it off, it ain't so much of the food or what they eat, it's the law.
Yeah.
They're going against the law that tells you what food to eat.
Yeah.
When
So
you
it
don't
can't-
eat the right food, that's starting to cut rates off.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it causes a lot of miscarriages too. So we're not looking at the fact that disobedience is the number one miscarriage doctrine.
And doctrine.
That causes problem for you because you don't put the right thing in you and they're not paying attention for the baby.
Death? It was bad doctrine that
Bad
brought
doctrine, yes,
brought
sir.
death in. That
And,
made
and
Adam and
also
Eve sick.
offspring. Yeah, it wasn't nothing they ate. It was spiritual doctrine that they ate. As Hosea 10:13, they ate the fruit of lies.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we want, the fruit of lies. We have to be careful and watch for it because that's the spiritual head fake. It's going to seem like it's spiritual, but it's a head fake. You know, when you like this and you act like you're going this way, but you go that way and your opponent go that way. Well, he going to fly over there and you go this way and score. You can't let the devil do that to you because that could be detrimental to your soul.
Yeah.
One head fake could break your ankles as well as break your soul.
Yes, sir.
You had some over there, sis?
They put them in children's school system.
Uh-huh.
And they can choose whatever gender they want to be out of parents' permission. And my granddaughter worked at Walgreens, and she experienced a lady brought her child in there to get a prescription filled, and she said, well, I can't fill this prescription because this is the name that's on this prescription. And the woman got abrupt with her and said, yes, it is. Come to find out, whatever gender this child appeared to be, it wasn't the gender that it was, but the parent was even, trying to stand in the midst, knowing that this child changing their gender. And my granddaughter got a chance at her young age to see exactly what's going on in these last days, even though she rejects wanting to listen to the word of God.
Well, y'all, it's out there now, y'all, the fruit of lies, y'all. That's what we have to be careful of because they're teaching also our children at the early age, like Elijah saying, knowing that who we are and who our God is the same thing as the devil say, well, I'll start there too.
Right.
I'm going to put confusion in their mind, but it's all based on what are the parents doing because they're supposed to nurture the children.
Right.
They just can't get it off of Facebook or the tablet or the iPhone. You still have to govern it. And even through that, so Satan don't get anybody to saying, well, that was the excuse they had like this. No, they put on there called parental control. So are we watching what our children are watching, or we just hand them the phone to get them quiet?
But even with that, if the mother is pregnant, she has to watch the information that she's taking
Absolutely,
in,
absolutely.
because that information is going straight to that baby. It's
Yeah.
being fed through that umbilical cord as well as through her senses to that child.
And what he's speaking of is like Judges 13th chapter when it told Samson,
Right.
mother and father, how Samson had to be born because he was going to be born with the Holy Spirit.
That's right.
So they couldn't either tell you can't eat this, you can't be talking about that, you can't do this. He's got to be born a Nazarite. So he has to be pure and common birth. So this is what you have to eat to make sure you can't have no wine in them, so no grapes of no kind. You can't do none of that because that umbilical cord feeds the child.
Yes, sir.
Like he's saying, with knowledge of everything. So Samson was born like John the Baptist was born with the Holy Spirit. There are certain individuals that are born with the Holy Spirit. John the Baptist, when Mary went to Elizabeth's house, she was 6 months pregnant. And Mary had just conceived. When she walked through the door, John the Baptist started kicking. And it say, and then she prophesied. Whenever you receive the Holy Spirit, prophecy always come right behind.
Right.
So that lets you know Elizabeth prophesied with John the Baptist. So John, the Messiah, that's why when John was baptized in the Messiah, John asked, shouldn't you be baptizing me? He said, no. this, you have to baptize me to change the order. But he said, by the way, I already baptized you in your mama's womb. When my mama walked in pregnant on your mama who was 6 months pregnant with you, I baptized you then. You prophesied. You were baptized with the Holy Spirit, like Acts 19 say. Right. There's a double baptism in there. There's the repentance of John, where you just go under the water and say, I ain't gonna do it no more. Now you can still come up a wet sinner. Or there's the laying on hands and the Holy Spirit come on you. That's what happened to John and Samson. So we common men, a lot of us are born, you know, with the gift to understand. But if you're born with the Holy Spirit, that's like you're God gifted at that point. We're gifted people to be under the covenant. You understand what I'm saying? But then there's God gifted. That's when you're born with the Holy Spirit. So once again, it's impossible to be born in sin, because sin is transgression of the law. Right. We are shaping in iniquity. I don't care even if Samson and John the Baptist were born with the Holy Spirit, they still had corruptible flesh from Adam. So using the power of the Holy Spirit, but this flesh still was deteriorating, and they had to go back the way of dirt. So let's pick it back up where we have. We're in Genesis 15, and I think we left off about 13. Okay. Genesis 15 and 13, y'all. We just go ahead. What you got over there, too, Bob?
Well, I got a question in the chat. K-Man asked, he is asking if there's going to be a double head fake with the coming of the Antichrist. Somebody asked earlier if there was going to be a...
Well, it's all a single head fake, y'all. That's why we're going to go through them. It's a process. You got the original people that the Bible's speaking here, and you got one of us is the imposter.
Yeah.
Either it's us or it's them.
Right. It's only one.
So it's only one person. It's the world chasing the head fake. See, because you got people coming out saying now that they're not the Jews, but they won't say who the real Jews are.
Right.
They're Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. Well, who is the real deal? Now, y'all going too far. Now, y'all trying to get me counseled to say who the real deal is. Because they can't say it's us. Because of all the prophecies that say what he going to do about the people that treated the captives wrong. Right. Nobody want to be on the other end of that. So they'll keep running with the Holocaust like that's the punishment and get rid of Deuteronomy 28. One is 400 years and one was only 4 years. Why are you looking at that 4 years? And wasn't no children sold in them 4 years, was it? No. Did they get a name change or did they change their own name?
They changed their own names, because if you look them all up, all of them have either German, Polish, or whatever names, for real. They all changed their names to fit the whole program of the Balfour Declaration.
Yes, sir.
That's the only reason why they changed their names. It was the head fake.
So,
not to cut you off, but when the person was asking, is it only going to be one or two? There's only one other people that's claiming to be us.
Yes, sir.
So it's only one head fake.
That's it.
There's only one other people on this earth that's claiming to be us.
The children of Israel.
What brother was asking was what the other brother in the chat was asking. The original question was, is there a false coming of the false Antichrist?
A false coming of the false? No, it ain't a double fake. See, that's a double head fake. No, you ain't gonna be. That's what people. That's the double head fake is caused by people passing YouTube videos around. The double head fake was saying George Bush was gonna be the Antichrist, then Obama was gonna be the Antichrist, and then these people that come and went Ronald Reagan, they all dead. And see, that was the head fake that you shouldn't have been watching. It lays out who he gonna be. It lays it out on the line. Look. We say we are the 12 tribes of Israel. We can name the tribes. We know we from Judah because Judah went into hard bondage. He punished us according to our ways. It said Judah was more treacherous than the rest of Israel, the 10 tribes. So I'm going to send y'all to the most brutal captivity. That's why the bulk of Judah was in America. To the most brutal, where the yoke of iron was around our neck. That wasn't in a lot of the other scattered parts of the world. But this brutal and the selling of children and your last name, and that's why the most confusing day in America for us is Father's Day.
And like in America, our brutality is still existing.
Yes, sir.
Whereas when you see the brothers in the Caribbean islands and everything, a lot of them are living a carefree life now. You know, and traveling and things of this nature. They don't have the white police Gestapo over there killing them unjustly and getting away with it.
Right.
We have that mostly here in America. Now,
Yeah.
it does happen.
It does
around
happen.
the world,
Yes, sir. It
but
happens
we
in
have the
Israel.
most concentrated of it here in this one place.
That the
This
rest of
one
the world
locality.
even point the
Yeah,
finger
and
at
say, no,
say,
y'all the worst of the worst.
Yeah, y'all the worst of the worst captors. So y'all, we're gonna speed it up just a little bit. Go ahead. Where you at? 15 and what?
13.
Yeah.
Back in the book of Genesis, chapter 15 and verse 13.
Yeah.
And it reads, And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So we got a group of people that's been afflicted 400 years twice, according to prophecy, and you got one group that claiming they are and ain't been afflicted but 4 years at max. But the same, what would happen is not happening to this group. And what I'm talking about is who we consider the Jews over there now. But guess what? They're telling us the head fake. But we so jealous because they're saying that, and in our land, that we're going for the head fake through jealousy. See, they tell us they're Israelis, not Israelites. So why do we keep saying that they saying what they ain't saying?
Right.
They say we ain't never said that.
Right.
They say we are the Dukes and the Temans, who are offsprings of Esau. They telling us who we are. They just saying we should have got that blessing. I'm older than Jacob. That land belongs to me.
Right.
That's what they're really saying, but the prophecies ain't lining up for us, but the birthright ought to line up for us. Well, no, because the prophecy said the elder should serve the younger. So you're older, you're going to serve your little brother Jacob. But right now, you're going to rule the world, but with the sword. So who's ruling the world with the sword right now? Is it us?
No.
What sword we got?
We ain't got no sword.
Boy, and you talking about race wars, there ain't never been a race war with us. They were race massacres.
Yeah.
This is the
We never
sword we
had
got.
nothing, right, like, we never had any weaponry that we could compete with them. Who got a Black Hawk in their garage right now?
Sure.
Who got an F5 bomber that dropped the big boy on them the other day? Anybody got that in there?
No.
Half our soldiers shoot with the gun sideways. What kind of war we going up against them?
Already.
And then you got
the block.
some Negroes out of New York training where the instructor don't never train with him. He just giving orders. Run down there.
Yeah.
Run over there. Run down there. And he out of shape. You ain't never seen that in no other army. The drill instructor is running with his
Yes.
soldiers with the count.
Yes.
Left, right, left, and they running and they counting and they singing. These boys are running through the alley, man. Some of them got on church shoes, and you like, what kind of army y'all? The army of Israel. I mean, out of breath, gas, and you know, like Zed talking about that gig line in them uniforms. Like y'all watch a movie called Full Metal Jacket. That drill instructor looked like he about 65. But that shirt and them pants,
Crisp.
that gig line is pristine, and he's in shape. He's running right with the soldiers. Every army, the drill instructor is in better shape than the soldiers. And you got somebody out of New York, got them actually thinking that we got an army, and they just running through alleys or run them through a gangway. Then they swinging off the monkey ball. And you like, you finna put this up against Donald Trump and them bombs. This what we going with.
And the dude that lead them, he's sitting on the side.
He's sitting on the side, chewing on
drinking,
toothpick. Run over there.
drinking ice coffee.
Ice cold water. Y'all run over here.
He's drinking coffee. He had the white boy go get him a coffee.
Coffee, boy, ain't that? And it's actually, see, that's when the script say you want to believe a lie.
Right.
You know this ain't going up against nothing. They couldn't take a Taco Bell with this army.
They couldn't take a break.
Boy, come on, couldn't take a break, boy. Absolutely, bro. Go ahead, boy. Let's read some more. Let's get caught up, y'all.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day the Most High made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.
He gave us all that land to the promise, y'all. So the day, he said, and notice this was all still in Abraham's vision.
Right.
So he's seeing this down the line in the end time. Because he's seeing it 400 years away. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So he know it ain't really in his time that this promise is going to his offspring. So that means that if whoever the players are in this cannot be miscegenated out. You can't make Esau because he mixed with an African and say, well, Esau now is African. No, Esau bloodline can't be miscegenated out because he has to deal with the book of Obadiah.
Yes, sir.
It's prophecies of Genesis 36. There's Amos, was it 9 or 11?
Yeah,
With Esau, Amos 9. So he can't be miscegenated out or look like another people because the prophecy was for them to stand at the end of time. You can keep saying that America's birth rate is low and all of these things, y'all, but Esau ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere because he has prophecies that still have to be fulfilled. So, y'all, we're going to catch up on that, and then we're going to get into a little Jubilees to tell who, because you got people out here saying Esau is the true Arab. We're getting into some Jubilees to correct all that nonsense, but we got to quit chasing these head faking videos that come out.
Yeah.
And because you know what's in them videos? America is ancient Egypt. Or
Yeah.
confusion. No, ancient Jerusalem. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
America is ancient Jerusalem. The Mississippi River is the Red
Nile.
Sea or the
They
Nile.
They say it's the Nile.
So technically we never left captivity if
Right.
you're looking at it like that. It don't
They
make
say-
sense, y'all.
Some cat that made a video, he went down to the arch and took a picture of
Cahokia Mound.
a map of Cahokia Mounds or
Yeah.
Mound City or whatever, and he saw some names flipped around talking about, man, you see how the north is actually south and the south is north and west is east and the east is west, which means that the world has actually been flipped around. So we're I said, boy,
See,
you
that's the
you
head
need to
fake.
stop
They done-
smoking that shit.
They done did them like this, and they done ran for the okie doke. Because you would have to have archaeology here. The Bible say you prove all things. They'll find what they need here, not guesswork. That's creating doubt and fear. Those are wiles of the devil for lazy people, lazy-minded people that don't want to study to show themselves approved.
Please get
so
off
they'll
the video.
grab a YouTube video. It's like cheating off of somebody else's paper.
Right. And they don't have a clue of what the work is about.
They ain't got no clue. Let's speed this up, y'all. Genesis 17th chapter. And we're going to pick it up about verse 18.
Genesis
y'all-
chapter 17, verse 18.
And when 17 starts off with how old Abraham was when Sarah got pregnant. So, but we're going to get down to the situation of his offspring, because Abraham was given a promise that Isaac was going to come from him, but Sarah didn't believe it. So she gave him Hagar, which is still, and he had Ishmael, which is still Abraham's son. Now he's the firstborn. He's who we call the Palestinian, the Arab nations, so to speak. So he said, I'm truly Abraham's firstborn. That land belongs to me. Esau, or who we call the Caucasian race, and his 13 or 12 tribes, just like Ishmael had 12 tribes, and Israel got 12 tribes. The whole world, all of this promises is basically about the 12 sons of Jacob, the 12 sons of Esau, and the 12 sons of Ishmael. That's what it breaks down to.
Yep.
And the land masses that they control are the land masses that the people that got off the ark. That's why we got, when you're reading Gog and Magog, they weren't the people that got off the ark. It's a land prophecy when you get in Ezekiel 38th chapter. We have to know the difference between land and people prophecy. It's just saying, who's ever in the land of God, when this prophecy take place, I'm only talking about the land. I'm not talking about the individual, because people move in and out of land. There's no indigenous people in their lands today, because the original Japheth is the islanders. They were the Eskimos, the Aborigines, the Alaska, Hawaiians. Those are islanders. That's Japheth's seed. But Esau has moved in there and moved them out. So now Hawaii is run by, it's Gilligan's Island now.
Right.
But just like when Israel miscegenate with any other race,
Yeah.
is considered black. But if you notice how when Esau has gone throughout the land and conquered all the island lands, they lightened up,
That's right.
just like Esau.
And they considered white too.
They're considered white. They fall under the white umbrella. If you look at ancient images of the islanders, they were black like us.
Sure was.
Dark as hell. Look at all the Asians.
Yeah.
Look at the Hawaiians.
Yeah.
The Samoans.
Yeah.
The Eskimos.
Yeah.
All of them were dark. It wasn't until Esau started conquering all the lands that they lightened up. And now they fall under the category of white.
Yes, sir.
Well, in like manner, when Israel miscegenate with another nation, the world tells you 5% 5% of that Negro
our
blood
blood
is considered black. He's considered Israel.
Yeah. See, because they know the two nations that's controlling the last day prophecy,
Right.
and where the end of the world has come through, like 2nd Ezra 6th chapter. The end of this world, Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the one that follows it.
And if you notice, it's only 3 main religions that exist: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
All of those 3, exactly, those are trying to match up the 3 on the true side of these blessings we finna get to in 17. Like, just follow along, y'all. The head fake is they make up they 3. It's the same group of people, but they just have different writings for them. Y'all understand? It ain't what the Bible see, it's what we give you. So each one of these that we're speaking of, we're gonna have to by Wikipedia it and then read off what it is, and they're saying that fits these scriptures. No, those are false prophecies. They're forcing it to fit. And if we don't study, we'll follow along with it like we were before we found out who we was. When we would see one, we would automatically say, wow, I heard those God's people, ain't it? That's before we knew anything.
Right.
We automatically thought it because that's what was being said to us.
right.
Them the Jews.
Right.
But they always been following another doctrine. Let's get some more of this. 17 and 18 of Genesis. Y'all, we're going to speed it up. What you got, Two by?
Got a question in the chat from Kingdom Mindset. It's not related to the lesson. When we get ready to fight in war, are we fighting in our flesh or spirit fighting?
Well, it'll be flesh that but you got to be in the spiritual mindset, because you're going to lose your life possibly. Like Daniel 7th chapter, Daniel 9th chapter. He going to make war with the saints, and he going to do what?
Wear them out.
Wear them out. And when you heard your parents say, boy, I'm about to wear you out, that wasn't pleasant, was it?
No.
Was it, Elisha?
I never saw
So
any
when
place.
you hear somebody say, I'm gonna wear you out, so, and then you got Jacob's trouble, Jeremiah 30th chapter, where there's a wearing out, but it say the remnant gonna be saved. But he say no, and just stay focused on the resurrection, because you may get put down in this spiritual war, but know that you're gonna live again. If you die for Messiah, if you bear your cross about this gospel, he said you're gonna live again. So we gotta stay focused on the resurrection, y'all. That's the main thing. What if I died this evening or tomorrow?
Right.
Am I good to go? And I'm waiting to see the Antichrist, and I'll hear about at Judgment Day, but first I'm gonna be dealing with how he gonna be dealing with me. The least thing on my mind gonna be who was the Antichrist
Right.
if I die beforehand.
Yeah.
But we got 1 Corinthians 15, and we got Isaiah 4th chapter that say there will be a group of Israelites who are alive and remain through the tribulation. They have to repopulate Israel like Adam and Eve was supposed to be doing before they sinned. So they'll have children in uncorruptible flesh, born in uncorruptible flesh. That's what has to be fixed, y'all, at the beginning. It ain't a middle thing, it's a beginning thing. That's why when you read about the feast days, it talks about the Sabbath in Genesis 2, not the Sabbath that the man messed up and went and picked up sticks and fringes had to be created. Not that one. That one ain't in
Heavenly
Leviticus
Sabbath.
23. It's Genesis 2 Sabbath. That where Adam was born in retirement.
2nd Ezra chapter 2, 34.
Yes, sir. Till the ground when he got ready. Not servile work. Not made to work by the sweat of your brow. The Sabbath was never made for that. Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath.
Exactly.
Is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath?
Yes, sir.
If your baby done pissed his diapers and that's the last one, and you've been holding out, trying to wait till the end of the Sabbath, and it look like a rack of pool balls in the back of them diapers, do you still just let them walk around there? Because while you at the stove the first day of the week, you better get some Desinex too,
Yeah.
and some extra wipes.
Yeah, you need those.
Oh boy, come on, let's get it. Where we at, bro?
You got,
Genesis 17, we'll start about verse 18.
Genesis 17, verse 18. And Abraham said unto Yahweh, "Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee."
Now, we'll start at this point because 1 through 18, Sarah didn't believe that she was going to have a child. So she gave Hagar, and that produced Ishmael. So now Abraham saying, can Ishmael live? Because Sarah, she wants him gone, you know, because she realized the error of the way. She wants Ishmael gone. Let's read some more.
And Yahweh said, "Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him." And as for Ishmael.
And as for who?
Ishmael.
His firstborn, Abraham's technical firstborn son. Go ahead.
I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes.
How many?
12 princes shall he beget.
There's 12 tribes of Israel. We get into Genesis 36, and there's 12 tribes of Esau, Dukes and Tamars. Y'all, this is about Abraham's offspring fulfilling the promise. It's only going to come through his offspring. Many nations don't come through his offspring. Go ahead.
And I will make him a great nation. But my covenant.
But my what?
Covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and Yahweh went up from Abraham.
So, and go ahead, if we read on down, you'll see that Ishmael was circumcised. So that means there was no Muslim or no Quran around at the time.
No.
Because the commandments that Abraham was taught to circumcise his firstborn, Ishmael got the circumcision first, you know, because he's older. He's 13. So, shalom, sis.
Shalom, sis.
So y'all see that nobody had strange doctrine. Strange doctrine came later because Abraham taught all of his children, whether they were to receive the covenant like Isaac or not, one just get the favored blessing, and his offspring, he's the true inheritor of the spiritual blessing. The other two just got earthly blessings. Right. And that's why the Arabs have all of the oil, and Esau controlled the banking system and the world. They got on this side of the kingdom, so to speak. Right. Go ahead, let's jump right now, y'all, to the Balfour Declaration, because what we just read concerning landmass and the promises and who it was go to, now they created a document to combat this Genesis 15 and Genesis 17 called the Balfour Declaration. So just look it up Wikipedia real quick and just read what it is, and then we'll move on to the next topic. We're showing you the documents that they're using to say that they fit the covenant, but they don't because they're man-made.
Right.
And the groups of people that's involved with it are the groups of people that think they got tricked out of their blessing.
And notice that in this Genesis, he said he made a covenant with Abraham's seed.
Yeah.
Singular. One seed, not all of his seeds.
Yeah.
It's only going through one bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah. Read a little bit louder, too loud.
It says Balfour Declaration.
Uh-huh.
It was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing its support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in
So right here you see what it was established for, to set the landmass that Abraham said. So they come up with their own document to make it work for the people that they saying this is work for. What else to say?
It says, in an ornament region with a small minority Jewish population,
Uh-huh.
the declaration was contained in a letter dated 2nd November 1917 from Arthur Balfour, the British Foreign Secretary of Lord Rothschild.
So Lord Rothschild, the Rothschilds are descendants, they call themselves Red Shield. So they tell you we Esau.
Yep.
But we don't listen to them. We want to just make them out to something else. They like, y'all falling for the head fake. We done told you, y'all just jealous that we got control of y'all land. So y'all been provoked to jealousy.
Yep.
So now what y'all doing by being provoked to jealousy, y'all do more of our custom than y'all original. That tells us y'all don't know nothing. That's why you have groups of Israelites wearing hexagram.
Yep.
Got it from them. Dressed up just like them as they high priests and everything. They didn't get that from the gospel of Messiah.
No.
You can't find no disciples dressed like that. You can't find no ancient pictures with Israelites with a hexagram as their shield. On no documentation. Solomon invented that when he fell on the dark side. It's called the seal of Solomon. He used it to control demons. It's a hexagram.
Hex. Just like they say, they put a hex on you. And ain't that a curse?
Yes,
Curse?
sir. Where you at? Verse what? Oh, you now you look. Is that good on the Balfour Declaration?
I mean, it had a little bit more. It says a leader is talking about the Lord Rothschild
Uh-huh.
of the British Jewish community
Uh-huh.
for transmission to the Zionist Federation of Great Britain and Ireland.
So, and look at this. Magog's sons was Ashkenaz and Sephardim. So a lot of people think that's why they call themselves Japheth. They're not named after those are named. They're naming themselves after religion. If you look up Ashkenaz and Sephardim, it'll tell you the American Jews and the European Jews. So see, but it's still the house of Esau.
Right.
It's his 12 tribes. They're dukes and teamers, like trading places. See, you can watch movies because Hollywood set up narratives too for us to watch. The one who was the tail was Eddie Murphy, right? And the head of him was the other boy. Well, they had them switch places.
Mortimer.
Yeah, but notice what they said. They said, so do you think we would actually have a nigger run our business?
Right.
And he said, no. He said, I didn't think it easy. He said, a duke has always sit on the stock exchange.
A duke.
What is Prince Harry name? What are their titles? Duke.
Dukes. Dukes of Earl.
Dukes of Britain.
Dukes.
They are the dukes and the teamers that Genesis 36 talk about. They're telling us right to our face, but
Right.
we keep going for the okie doke.
And then
It's like what Satan always
right,
do.
go
He
ahead.
always asks you, what did God tell you? Satan
Right.
don't come with the trick first. He asks you so he can hold you responsible for breaking the law of God.
he's the accuser.
He's the accuser, and the only thing he accuses you of is breaking God's law. So when he come to you, what God tell you? Oh no, bro, look at this right here. Here's the head fake. And when you go for the head fake, you hemmed up.
And over in Britain, that area which they rule from is called the Red Dragon.
Yes, sir.
That whole square is called the Red Dragon, and on each building it has a red shield or a gargoyle or a red dragon on it, to let you know this is the rulership of Esau.
And see, what they're trying to do is convince you it don't matter that it's fake. You know, it's just like the real deal. But you know you can't go up into them real Dooney and Burks or them high-end purse stores with a fake one from the Chinese swap meet. I don't care how much it look like the real one. If you walk through that door, they got a way of knowing you in here with a fake person. They don't even have to take it and look and see a tag. They're trained to look at the material. They're trained to look at it and say, you better get out of this store.
With the stitching.
Coming in here with that fake stuff on. So it's like manner, y'all. We have to tell them to get out of here with that fake stuff, even though it look real. And Satan tell you, I'm fake. But look, y'all ain't gonna have no fun trying to get the real. Y'all might as well get on the fake.
That's right.
You're gonna enjoy life more to get on the fake. Puffy, would you like to get on the fake? Yes, I would. See where he at, don't you? Because he's doing the same thing that when you read the book of Adam and Eve that Ganon did.
Yeah.
First with the music, then with the strong drink, then with the clothing line, and then with the infidelity and immoral actions that ain't been seen on planet Earth since Sodom and Gomorrah. All this happened before the flood. It's just, it ain't new doctrine of the devil. It's the same old doctrine he been using. It's like Balaam told Balak the king, he said, you can't curse Israel.
Right.
But what you can do is get them hooked on that fornication. Make sure you have some chicken too, though. And they're going to go for the fornication every time. So that's why Israel, the only movies they show us in, drugs, pimps, and prostitutes.
Yep.
Drug, pimp, prostitutes. Our song leaders sing drugs, pimps, and prostitutes. That's all we sing. Y'all understand? Let's get some more, y'all. Let's get caught up because we got a few scripts. What you got, Tuba?
I got a question from Brother Cooper in the chat. He says, scroll back to it. He said, why do people keep saying the Israelites were oppressed 400 years in Egypt when the scripture states Exodus 12:40, Joseph saw 3 generations. They weren't oppressed then maybe 150 years.
What?
I didn't
He
get
said
that.
why people keep saying Israelites were in captivity for 400 years in Egypt.
Well, see, it's not, if you look at the promise, see, that's what I'm saying. If you get your count from when we talk about Genesis 15, and you count to when we came out of Egypt, that's 430 years. 215 was in the land of Canaan. And when the famine hit, we packed up and went to Egypt, and that's where we did 215 of bondage. Just like here in America, we did about 215 of hard bondage. Now we're on the 215 of the lighter edge, but they still controlling the police force. They still furthering the afflictions. We just able to go through the drive-through at midnight, like we were able to do in the land of Canaan. We still had free will, but we were under the thumb. See, nobody else still under this free will that we got, Elijah. They don't have to get the talk from their parents. Now, you be careful out there. Make sure you wear your seatbelt and make sure you don't roll through no stop sign. Who are those warnings so you don't get...
Israel.
And who are they for to prevent from who?
From Esau.
From Esau. So no other people get to talk. That's the way we were in the land of Canaan. Jacob was among Shechem. He was chilling. That's where Shechem raped Dinah. While we was just chilling in those lands of Canaan during that time. We were part of that system, and Jacob was well respected, but the Hamites was running it. The house of Shechem is the offspring of Ham. They was running everything. Their face was on the money. Let's get some more. But this will answer when we get through too by what he asking as well. So we see the Balfour Declaration. Also now, they come up with another one for the Genesis 17 blessing of Abraham just told who the sons would be. Hold on. I don't see where he said. Isaac shall be. I want where he gave Keturah. But while we do that too, by pull up the Abraham Accord. This is what they'll match it up and say this Genesis 17. But when we read the Abraham Accord, you're going to see who involved with it.
It says the Abraham Accords.
Read a little bit louder too, Bob.
It says the Abraham Accords. Declaration.
Genesis 25.
We, the undersigned, recognize the importance of maintaining and strengthening peace in the Middle East.
Right.
And around the world based on mutual understanding and coexistence, as well as respect for humanity, dignity, and freedom, including religious freedom. We encourage efforts to promote interfaith and intercultural dialogue to achieve a culture of peace among 3 Abrahamic religions and all humanity.
Among the 3 what?
Abrahamic religions and all humanity.
What are those 3 Abrahamic religions that they say is Abraham religions? Go ahead. It'll tell you, if you scroll down, you'll see the 3 factions.
It says we believe that the best way to address challenges is through cooperation and dialogue, and that developing friendly relations among states and advisors.
No, they'll show the 3. If you scroll down, you'll see Judaism, you'll see Muslim, and you'll see Christianity. Do you see those like 3? They saying this is what makes up the Abraham Accord. You on Wikipedia?
Yes, sir.
So if you scroll down, you should see them symbols. It's like the Koji symbol or whatever it is. But it's going to have Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. See, those are the 3 sons that they're dealing with, but guess who's left out? Israel. The 12 tribes of Jacob is left out. What they have in there is the Roman doctrine of Roman Catholicism. Judaism, knows that calling themselves Jews, and the Ishmaelites doctrine, Sunni Muslim, because that's the only group that they're dealing with from the Ishmaelites, or the Sunni Muslim. They're not dealing with the Shiite, which is them crazy Iranians. They deal with Sunni, which is the biggest population, but those who are willing to agree with that Abraham Accord. They're only dealing with one faction of them, but too bad, that should be on the way. I just saw it on Wikipedia. If you scroll down the Abraham Accord, you should see it.
The one I had was it was a different website.
No, you on Wikipedia?
That was on the internet. That was Wikipedia.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. Go to Wikipedia. So, it gets it right to the point, and you'll see.
I got one even better, right here. Straight to the point. Right there.
What it say?
It say the Abrahamic religions or sect.
And for any of y'all, what he read from it and what he gonna put on the screen, I need you to put up on the screen too, T.
I'm reading it right on the
So
screen.
I'm saying I don't see it on his screen.
Because it's delayed.
Oh, it's delayed. Okay. So y'all, we on God's Warrior 298 is live. All one word, God's Warrior 298, because we live stream this. So what he's showing, like the Wikipedia will be if you were to tune in and get on your smartphone, we'd be on there. But go ahead. What it say? Boy, that's a long delay.
You might have to come out Warrior and come back in.
No, don't worry about it. I just go ahead and read. I'm just saying, yeah.
The Abrahamic religions are a set of monolithic religions that revere the biblical figure of Abraham, namely Judaism.
What ism?
Namely Judaism.
Judaism ain't found in the Bible. There's no such doctrine in the Bible called Judaism.
Right.
Go ahead. What else it say?
Christianity.
Christianity is not in the Bible. Christian is mentioned 3 times, but it means a follower of Christ. Right. Christianity is a doctrine made up in 32 AD at the Roman Council of Nicaea. That's 325 AD. Thank you, bro. That's the Council of Nicaea. That's where Christianity comes from. But a Christ follower that's mentioned in the Bible 3 times, it say there's no shame to be called a Christian. It just means a Christ follower. Those who follow Christ. But Christianity is a whole nother doctrine. Exactly. It's a Sunday doctrine teaching. It's what the Pope teach, and none of what they teach can be found in the Bible. And what's the other one? Islam, but only from the Sunni faction. The Sunni faction is the largest of the Arabs, so to speak, that agree to that covenant. Because all of them, Sunni Arabs, all of them are offsprings of Abraham. So they figure we're firstborn. Ishmael, I'm truly the firstborn. Esau, I'm truly the firstborn. And the sons of Keturah, who he married after Sarah died, he married Keturah, and he had children with her. So y'all have to understand, it's those children that were left out of the covenant of Isaac that's now saying, y'all, we need to get together, man. Really, that belonged to us, man. I don't know why he's giving it to them hard-headed Negroes. They don't want to do right. That land ought to be ours. But then they start warring against each other like Crips and Bloods, saying, Martin Luther King is my block. Martin Luther King ain't your block. Martin Luther King belonged to the United States government.
Or fighting out like family fight after a parent die. Or
Over the inheritance.
Over the inheritance.
What you got, bro?
What nation was Keturah from?
Oh, we're going to get right into that. Keturah was a Midianite. So,
Okay, the same as Moses.
Yeah.
same as Moses' wife. So let's get into, so y'all understand what we're talking about, Genesis 25. And we're going to read 1 through 5.
Read down to 6.
Read down to 6, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So y'all, this is when you're going to see Abraham got married again after Sarah died. And you see Abraham, like a lot of people say, Abraham had a bunch of children and a bunch of wives. Abraham is recorded as being with 3 women. Sarah, his whole life, who then gave him her concubine that she got from Egypt named Hagar. That was her concubine. Abraham didn't just take her, he gave her, but it said she became a wife. That's what a concubine is, a secondary wife. Get all of the same things the first wife get, as long as it's according to righteousness. It can't be you just throw somebody in there and then they have a child that interrupts everything. You can't force inheritance in there by just throwing another nation in there. Go ahead, let's get some more of that Genesis 25. Real quick, y'all.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 1.
What it say?
Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah.
Uh-huh.
And she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Median, and Ishbak, and Shua. And Jokshan begat Sheba. And Dedan, the sons of Dedan were Ashuram, and Letushim, and Leuman. And the sons of Median, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanak, and Abidah, and Eldaah. All these were the children of Keturah.
So all of these came after Sarah had died. Isaac, Sarah died before he got back from where Abraham was going to sacrifice him, and when he came back, Sarah was dead.
Right.
Now, most people think that Isaac was 5 or 6 years old, was a toddler. Isaac was 37 years old when Abraham was going to sacrifice him. Y'all understand? He wasn't no child. He was making his own decisions, and he was willing to lay down his life. But there's various sacrifices. Every time it means sacrifice, it don't mean nobody going to be burned up on a fire. The Messiah was sacrificed. Was he put on a fire or was he put on a cross? Sacrifice means how you give your life up. And there's various ways. Like Jephthah in Judges 11, his daughter was sacrificed, a burnt sacrifice. That means she was going to work at the temple the rest of her life. Like Mary basically was when her mother and father offered her up. There's different sacrifices, y'all. They just don't mean blood and killing. There's a responsibility that you offer the best thing you got to the Lord.
A living sacrifice.
A living sacrifice. So let's get this, where we at? So we seen that.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
5. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac.
Who he give it to?
Isaac.
Uh-huh.
But unto the sons of the concubines, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country.
Now, if you notice, these boys of this first script, it's got us in the same way. They done got rid of us and told us to go away while they in the homeland. Right. Y'all understand the head fake, they just flipping everything around. Notice we on the outside where they were on the outside here. So they'll court, bring them in and put us out. Because in the law of return, we can't come back. Remember, they've been over there in Dimona since 68, and they won't let them have the law of return. If we go over there right now, we can't be part of the law of return. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So they got us out looking in at our own homeland. It's like squatters in your house. What you got, bro?
The son don't agree with him though.
Who?
The son didn't agree with him. In that name.
The
Talk
son
about the earthly son.
You know what I'm saying? The son of the sky. Because they talking about how much skin cancer they got from the son.
Oh, yeah. Well, it ain't so much as that. It's just the fact that the head fake, even if they get skin cancer, they still who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because light-skinned people get skin cancer, and all of them don't have skin cancer. The problem is how they living to 100 then, and we can't get past the 60s. That's what we need to really focus on, because Rothschild was 103. You understand what I'm saying? We can't get past, they say if we get past 35, we doing good.
Right.
So you have to understand, and then they creating, if the sun don't get us, they already creating other diseases for us. And the biggest one is called fornication. Slow them, Judah. They always create that for us, y'all, but we got to speed this up, y'all, because we ain't got nothing but 45 minutes. So, y'all, we see, now you look at the Abraham Accord, and it showed Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So, and as you scroll down on that Wikipedia, y'all see the Arab nations that they say that they accept, that believes in the Quran. It's the Sunni faction. The Sunni faction believes in Muhammad. You going, bro? Be careful out there. So they don't deal with the faction that Iran is dealing with. They don't want to deal with that group. They deal with the other ones, like, the ones over in Dubai and all of that. That like George Bush only allowed that family to fly back during 9/11. There was only one airplane in the air,
Right. Yeah.
and they was the Sunnis. They was the only one allowed to fly back home. What you got over there, bro? Who? Willie? Oh, Willie. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, LC, El Shai. Go ahead, yeah.
He was reading the scripture earlier in the Apocrypha where the Lord said he's going to send the monsters of Arabia and droves.
Well, y'all, this is what we still got to look at. That's why we're saying we can't jump prophecy. They didn't even know America had been there and bombed them till they had left. See, when you keep looking at something chasing the head fake, there's no power there. They done dropped 16 bombs before they realized. They like, man, you hear something rumbling?
Right.
You caught it? No, you know I'm talking about. Before they knew America was on its way back home and they dealing with major destruction. This is not what you're looking for right now. They ain't got it yet.
Right.
They have no power because they didn't even know your enemy was in your land. You ain't got nothing to defend these radarless planes that's coming in and dropping bombs on you. You sitting there playing checkers or whatever the Muslim checker game is and don't know. You hear something?
Right.
Y'all understand this is what we're talking about. You're saying because you're reading, you're missing something. Because the Most High say, I'm going to take the champion like I took Egypt.
Right.
I'm going to take America. Not this group. What I'm going to do is use that group to create chaos for America's interests all over the world. This is what they saying Trump made a mistake because we're going to blow up this base over here that you got soldiers at. We're going to blow up this one that you got soldiers on. But we know we can't get into America. Yeah, we got men in there owning gas stations and different things. They may blow up a few gas stations and blow up the Boston Marathon, but talking about getting in the White House,
No.
you talking about getting in through that security?
No.
No, it's the interest that America have all over. And like America had to come save Israel because Iran may have a bomb that can reach Israel. That's why America had to come and drop the big boys on them. They don't have what it takes to handle them if they got a nuke.
Right.
And they done moved all that uranium, y'all. We just got to hope they ain't ready to throw a dirty bomb. And that's just put that uranium in a bomb and just hurl it wherever it
Yeah, 'cause
goes.
they
It's
say-
going to cause damage.
They say they got enough material to make one in 10 days.
In 10 days.
And they say, and the dude was saying, he said, the problem with if America dropped them bombs, he said the problem is the areas in which they're targeting are just on ground. It's like a trap house.
Yes.
These just fake bunkers
Right.
building.
Wasn't none in it.
One shit in them.
They moved that stuff.
They had
days
moved to
before.
go.
Yeah.
And then they got the stuff so far underground, they say even if they shoot one of them bunker bomb, they say it's so deep it won't reach it. It won't even destroy it. It won't bother it. And they say, unfortunately, what happens if you do that, then you might force them to go ahead and start making a bomb, which they have enough material they can create one in 10 days.
And not only that, y'all, but the head fake again is to think that they'll create a weapon that can destroy a mountain. I want y'all to understand how long mountains been here.
Right.
They were here at the beginning of the creation. You know, I'm talking about Genesis 1:1. It says the mountains moved forward. They weren't destroyed in that destruction. They weren't destroyed after the flood. The mountains are still there, and they still here today.
Right.
Matthew 24:16 say, if you be in Judea when the
Flee to the
Antichrist
mountain.
get here, it say flee to the mountain. And Zechariah chapter 14, 1-7 breaks it open why you must flee to the mountain. It say because the Mount of Olives is going to split open, and you're going to run down into the valley of it, and then it's going to close itself up. Those mountains are nuclear proof. See, they made a dent in it, but they don't have enough equipment to destroy God's holy mountain because it's a safety zone if you in those. But if they say they in that mountain, blow it up, put the bunker buster on it. But you can't. It's like 2 or 3 miles thick of rock. They ain't got nothing that can do it. Yeah, they knocking some dust off the surface, but they ain't did no real damage.
If the Most High said, I'll split open a mountain and hide you in there, nothing can touch it.
Nothing can touch it, y'all.
He said,
And
no
look-
weapon formed against you should touch you if you believe, if you follow his commandments.
Yes,
statutes,
sir.
and judgments.
Let's see.
Psalms 91.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
day,
sir.
Every day.
That's the shield. That ain't no hexagram. So y'all, let's speed it up. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6, because this has to work for the people as well. He say you're going to be on the bottom. You're going to be the tail, but they're going to be the head, but you're going to stand out. Like the best doctor on earth, Ben Carson, will get on your brain. The best, who they call Galaxy Man, that Tyson dude that...
And
you
think
know.
about this. You naming these people being
Yeah.
the best, and the best under tribulation.
Under tribulation, this is what we're talking about. He said, y'all gonna stand out being the tail so the world will know. This way they can't say we didn't know we was treating the children of Israel wrong. He said, you ain't got, and then this gets us off of that melanin doctrine, you know, because we got people running with this melanin doctrine now. If that's the case, the Africans should have everything on lock. They should be the best athletes. They should win all the Super Bowls, all the track and field. They should win everything. They should be the best doctors and lawyers over here. It should be
Everything.
them if it's about melanin, but it ain't.
Manu Bowl could barely tie his shoes.
Boy, look here. You
He
see
go
what
out.
Jordan did to the best Hamite, who was blocking all shots and doing like this. Jordan went over the top of it and hammered and did it right back at him. But not Israel, buddy. You may do it to them Germans and the rest of them.
Right.
But around here, Israel is supreme. And then you'll see Vince Carter in the, I believe it was the Olympics, where he leaped over that Yugoslavian who was 7'1", and his crotch was right here on that 7'1" guy, and he slammed it down like that. Or you see men run, Usain Bolt, all them run 100 meters, that's 110 yards in less than 10 seconds. Ain't nobody else on planet Earth doing that.
No.
The boxing, the dancing, the singing, and the singing. I don't care whatever white group it is, they go get a black choir. Why? Because they know what the sound like, the 24 elders that sing holy, holy
Yeah.
around the throne. They know who to go get. But we still stuck in slavery and chase slavery rewards like Juneteenth and things like that, and don't know what happened before the slavery. Let's get some more, y'all. Let's get caught up. Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Yeah. You seem to get forgetful.
Yeah.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Deuteronomy,
Yeah.
chapter 7, and start the reading in verse 6. Everybody there? We'll tarry for our family now. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and 6.
Y'all read verse 1 through 6, but we're going to pick it up right here.
And it reads, For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy Elohim.
What kind of people?
A holy people.
That means set apart. Go ahead.
The Most High thy Elohim hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So don't get that twisted. That don't give us Israelite privilege. It just means you're the chosen.
That's
See,
all.
we don't want to get that and think our sugar honey iced tea don't stink.
Right.
And you think you got Israelite privilege, like you hear people saying, well, he got white privilege. No, the Most High is no respecter of person. Romans 2 and 9 and 2:10, to the Jew first.
Right.
Honors and blessing. Tribulation and anguish to who first?
Jew.
To the Jew first.
He's no respecter of persons, y'all. So don't get it twisted that this right here meaning that you can't do no wrong, so
You
to
got
speak.
special privilege.
You got a special privilege. No, you get the special whooping.
That's
Let's
perfect.
get it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
The Most High did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people. For ye were the fewest of all people.
So that's why we're called the minorities. Wherever we go, we're the fewest of all people. Go ahead.
But because the Most High loved you,
Uh-huh.
and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Most High brought you out with a mighty hand,
Uh-huh.
and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
Now y'all can hold that. Now he gave that to us, and we're gonna go right to Deuteronomy 28, and we're just gonna hit verse 15 through 20. That's all, y'all. We ain't gonna get into the heart of it. But all of Deuteronomy talks about the first 15 verses are the blessings.
14.
Huh?
14.
14, you know, or we got the first 14 are the blessings if we did right. 15 on, or 14 on are the curses. We're not a cursed people, we're just under a curse.
Right.
You can't curse a blessing.
That's right.
So what you can do is you can bring them under curseful situations. To bless you can. Like Ananias and Sapphira who received the Holy Spirit in Acts 5, and yet the devil whispered in their ear, I wouldn't give them all that money, that's your stuff.
Right.
And they lied to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
See, that's how the devil gets you to curse. You bring it upon your own self. Go ahead, where we at?
We're in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to start the reading in verse 15. So you want 15 to
Yeah,
20?
yeah. Y'all read 1 through 14. We just gonna read 15 and let you know that was if we obeyed. But if we disobeyed, this was gonna happen to us. Go ahead.
Verse.
Yeah, yeah,
Verse 15.
yeah.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So y'all see all them curses and blessings 1 through 14.
Right.
He said, but if you don't obey, all of what I just said gonna come upon you.
Yeah.
That ain't came upon nobody else, because as you get down into it, you'll see that how our children was taken from us. We were given to another people. There's only one group of people on planet Earth that fit that description.
Right.
Nobody else had been carried away captive to another land, and their name changed, their heritage is discontinued. We don't know how you gonna call yourself anything, and we don't know because of the iron wall of slavery.
Right.
All we know is prophecy tells us what our DNA is. That's what Deuteronomy is. Deuteronomy names your ancestry. If you fall into this, you're an Israelite, based off of prophecy, not about color. Because if we get caught up in the color doctrine, then African's gonna be who it is.
And we're the only nation of people that don't have a homeland.
Absolutely.
And then we don't have a flag.
No.
What's our national anthem?
Yes,
You know,
sir.
any of that.
None of that.
Think
The other
about that.
nations do. All of them offspring that we just read, just the Muslim and all them have flags and different things. But not us, y'all. We carry another man's name.
Right.
Paul, what plantation you come off of? What's your last name? The Jackson Plantation? Yes, sir. See, off the Tate Plantation, the Burton Plantation, the Harris Plantation. Nobody else can put those two together and say that, because they still carry their father's name.
Right.
And just this, and we're gonna move on all throughout the Olympics. Other nations, like players that play for the United States, that's German, they go back and play for Germany. Akeem Olajuwon went back and played for Nigeria. Who could Jordan, Kobe, and them go play for? If we from Africans, why they didn't let us go play for Kenya or
'Cause they know.
Nairobi, or why we couldn't go play for them?
They know.
If they calling us African,
Right.
you know.
They know. Even the Africans know. How many Africans we used to run into up at the Red Sea?
Oh, yeah,
And they
yeah.
used to tell us all the
All the
time.
time.
Ask us, have we been back to our
To our
homeland?
land, yeah.
Told us we need to go back and
They
see.
call us cotters, cotton pickers. See, Africans could get into Chase Park Plaza in 1968,
Yep.
walk right through the front door.
Front
We
door.
couldn't.
Right.
Only way we could is to hand the keys, the valet keys. This for Mr. Jackson's car.
Right.
Not two by Thomas, but the original Mr. Jackson, like Andrew Jackson.
Hey man, I remember doing my registration for school.
Yeah.
The white man asked me, he said, "What's your name?" I said, "William Burton." He said, "William Burton." He said, "Like Richard Burton?" I said,
Yeah.
"No, like LeVar."
Yeah, he said.
He
Yeah.
looked.
Yeah. And then what he say? He probably
He ain't
say,
say
"Oh,
shit.
you talking about Kunta?"
He probably would have.
Yeah, you talking about Kunta Kinte?
But yeah, I kind of took
Yes,
offense
sir.
to it.
Yes, sir.
Richard.
I know it, bro.
Hell
Yeah.
no.
But they know, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's pick this up, y'all. So we seen Balfour Declaration, Abraham Accord, now Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Did we read?
No.
Okay, go ahead and read that. What
The
we
book
need.
of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 16.
Yeah, what it say?
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Yeah.
Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in.
Meaning born.
And cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Most High shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken.
So y'all can read the rest of that, but jump down to verse 68. It's going to tell the end of the final part of it to show who we would be.
Right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
I tell you what, start by verse 65 because that lets us know it ain't only America. Go ahead.
Start at 64.
Yes, sir.
The Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64.
Yeah.
And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And so what we're talking about serving other gods, like I'm just talking about days that may be several, like this Juneteenth. I ain't saying that it's a wicked day or something, but what I'm talking about is you got preachers coming out and teaching the people about Juneteenth, about the slavery, but they won't go before or they won't tell what's the end result of it, but they won't mention Leviticus 23 or the feast days that we're supposed to keep and teach them that wiggly. So we chase Juneteenth. And I'm not saying if you participate in Juneteenth, you're doing something evil. It's just a vanity holiday because it don't go past slavery. It don't go before slavery. Everything is after, and there's no plan B for what happens after Juneteenth. What do we do? Yes, we release, but what do we do after that? And there's nothing there. It's just celebrate the release. But where did we go? What did we get released? We keep hearing we need to come out with great substance.
Right.
We're supposed to get our land back. So we're still in captivity, but we won't do the days that's coming up, like the Feast of Tabernacle. That's going to be done in the kingdom. And why the preachers are missing this? Because they went for the head fake, and the head fake say, just give them something to get happy about.
Right.
They want a colored president. Give them a colored president.
Right.
That'll quiet them down for a little while.
Pacify them.
But see, that's just like at the beginning of that 64, where it says that the Most High shall scatter thee among all the people.
Yeah.
From the one end of the earth to the other.
Yeah.
We are the only people, man, that you can find anywhere in the world. And we'll gravitate to whatever religion is the popular one in that area.
Yes, sir. But still don't know who we are.
Exactly.
Verse 68.
Well, let me get finish at 65 on that.
Okay, go ahead, bro. Yeah.
Verse 65.
Boy, I'm jumping the gun. What?
You all
okay,
over
go
the
ahead.
It happens sometimes too.
Yes, I do. It's starting to become more oftentimes. Go ahead.
Verse 65.
Yeah.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Most High shall give thee there a trembling heart.
Oh, Lord have mercy, the police behind me. Go ahead.
And failing of eye.
No, they didn't got Junior locked up. Lord have mercy.
And sorrow of mind.
Oh, and sorrow of mine. Go ahead.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
Right.
And thou shalt fear day and night. And shalt have none assurance of thy life.
We're the only people that they guarantee. They give us a lifespan based on where we live.
Right.
If y'all make it to 35, y'all lucky where y'all live. Ain't no other nation getting that.
Right.
Go ahead, what else it say?
Verse 67.
Yeah.
In the morning thou shalt say, would God if it were evening.
Because of slavery, you got to hit the fields for 0 cents an hour.
Yeah.
I'm talking about y'all working hard now. We complain about working at Family Dollar. Be careful out there, sis. We crying about working at jobs. Oh man, I ain't gonna work for no $15 an hour. Wait a minute, you was getting 0 cents an hour then.
In the heat.
And notice there was no fat slaves. No.
House.
That's why slaves last longer than we lasted. Because they put them to work.
Yeah,
and they sweat out a lot of that bad diet and toxins. But it wasn't no fat slaves. You wasn't sitting around on the porch.
No.
Go ahead.
And at even thou shalt say, would Yah if it were morning.
Because the slave master now coming in the quarters to do some raping and killing.
Yeah.
Man, I wish the daylight come to where he always come at night, where he can't be seen. I wish it was morning. Go ahead, what else to say?
For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. Who's the only other people been brought into captivity by ship? They say the Irish. That wasn't no captivity. They still call the Irish, ain't they?
Yeah.
O'Brien and
Yeah.
McBride. They still got their names, don't they?
Yeah.
The Chinese came here, they got paid and left. They like, y'all can't work. They like, we sure can't. Y'all need them niggas.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's see. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So no man has bought us out of captivity yet. Nobody want to give up reparations.
Right.
See, all them other people that came here and had to work, they got paid.
They got paid off.
The Chinese got paid, the Italians got paid, everybody that was for, and look, that was just indentured servitude.
Right.
What we're talking about is bondage. That means 0 cents an hour.
To this day.
You gonna, and we're in bondage now. We're still dominating the penal system.
Yes.
13% of the nation and you 80% of their jail population?
Right.
And that jail population is working on slave wage.
Yes, sir.
Because
7 cents a day.
Because the
They
prison
get paid
system,
more though.
they send them out and work
Yeah.
for corporations for little nothing. However, whatever they get paid, they still got to pay a percentage back to the penal system.
Yes, they do. Now
And
they
see,
make
that's
you pay
what
for being in jail.
Negroes don't have a clue about. They don't tell you that you go to jail and you paying for your own incarceration.
Boy, ain't that crazy?
And when you get out, they want some payback for
Back
your
to
room and board.
Board or not.
See, Negroes that's going through that ain't coming out telling these youngsters that.
Yeah.
That you doing a crime and then you paying for it.
Yeah.
Not only are you paying for it with your time and your blood and everything, you paying for it with your labor,
Yeah.
your money.
Yeah.
And when you get out, whatever restitution you didn't make, you're going to continue to make when you get a job on the outside. There's a percentage on your check. As long as you're on paper.
To your
there's
PO.
a percentage on your paycheck that goes back to the penal system.
Yes, sir.
To pay for your room and board and them 3 hot meals.
That you thought you was eating for free.
You better find out the truth.
Look up the Holocaust too by Wikipedia, and this is what the head fake is using as Deuteronomy 28, what we just read. Because it's that group of people saying, this is our Deuteronomy 28. That's what matches up with Deuteronomy 28. And the world sees that as, oh, the world doing them so wrong. That's why we have to put in anti-Semitism laws. Well, they don't work with us because we are Shemite. We can't be anti ourselves.
Right.
Are they Shemites? Yes, they are. All of them, because they're all offspring of Abraham. Ishmael is Hebrew. He's a Hebrew Ishmaelite.
Right.
Esau is a Hebrew. He's a Hebrew Edomite. But Israel, whose name was changed, Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, we're Hebrew Israelites. And the covenant went through them. But you got these 2 other boys, Esau and Ishmael, fighting for the land that don't belong to neither one of them. But thinking because I'm the firstborn of Isaac, Esau, I should have that land. Ishmael saying, I'm the firstborn of Jacob, I should have the land. And they make a covenant accord, but now they're at each other's throat because they wiped out the Gaza Strip of the Palestinians. And this part of them, they say, we'll deal with this group of them, but we won't deal with that group of them. Well, you got to deal with this group of them. That's the real group.
And the one lady, what is it, Golden Meyer or something?
Golden Meyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
putting up
old,
Wikipedia,
the
Holocaust
old Edomite lady
Yeah.
from Israel. She say when she first got to Israel, she was considered a Palestinian.
Yeah.
They called themselves Palestinian Jews.
Really?
She said she said this was in 43, 44.
Yeah.
she said they were considered Palestinians and they carried Palestinian visas.
Wow.
And she said they lived with the Palestinians and everything. It wasn't until after 48
Yeah.
that they made all that change.
Yes,
and
sir.
everything. She said, but she
With the
was-
Balfour.
Yeah, with the Balfour Declaration. But she said up until her death, she was always considered herself a Palestinian.
Well, yeah, too bad you got that up.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing exactly what you was,
No, I'm just saying, bring up the Holocaust on Wikipedia and just read the beginning, what it is. That's all we need to know is what it is, because that's what they're using to say is Deuteronomy 28. That's what they're looking at the world and say, if you do something to them, God gonna get you and we have to protect the land. They're using the Holocaust as Deuteronomy 28 to cursing and blessing. If somebody curse you, like telling Abraham, cursing and blessing. If they curse you, the Most High will curse them. So what you got on Wikipedia? You on Wikipedia?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. What it say? The Holocaust.
The Holocaust, known in Hebrew as the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She-Hulk, was the genocide of European Jews during World War II. From 1941 to 1945. Nazi Germany and its collaborators systematically murdered some 6 million Jews across German-occupied Europe.
So look, even if it's all lies, what I'm talking about is the time period. They said from 41 to 45. How many years is that?
4.
4. How many years did we just read in Genesis? I mean,
400.
Deuteronomy 20? 400.
Yes.
2 zeros missing.
Yes.
Off of this doctrine. Why are people chasing that head fake? It's missing 2 zeros.
Yes.
And it's saying they were only treated bad, but where does it say they were put in the holds of slave ship and sold away?
Right.
Does it?
Where was they children and they being castrated and all of the things that happened to them then? But you know the other thing? We were in that Holocaust, but we were called the Rhineland bastards.
Understand something?
Go ahead.
'Cause I researched all that.
Uh-huh.
The Rhineland bastards was those offspring of the French blacks and
Only
the German
so-
whites.
Yeah.
Now, what happened was there were Israelites who were dwelling in Germany, Nazi
Yeah.
Germany at that time. They didn't go through the same treatment as the Rhineland bastards. This is the reason why the Rhineland bastards went through what they went through. Hitler didn't want no race mixing.
You're right. Absolutely. Absolutely,
So
bro.
he was trying to build the perfect Aryan German nationality. He was trying to get his people back to loving themselves and having national pride.
Period, so.
Right. But what he said, he knew that the blacks were the Israelites. He knew that a black mixing with a white German will no longer be a German. He'd
Yeah.
be considered a black or Israelite.
Right.
So his whole ordeal, his whole ideology was to purify Germany.
Yeah.
So what he did was, since the Rhineland bastards were already a mixed race of children, offspring,
Yeah.
he had to do away with them because they were no good for his pure national ideology.
Absolutely.
However, the black Israelites who dwelt in Nazi Germany, what he did was try to sterilize all of them.
Yes, sir.
So that they would not repopulate or mix with the white German women. So he sterilized most of the black Israelites in Germany. He didn't put them in concentration camps and things of that nature. Matter of fact, there were some Israelite children who were true Israelite children who were part of the Nazi youth camp.
Yes, sir.
They were in the Nazi youth camp. Look it up.
So y'all, and this what we saying, y'all. So
But
that,
Hitler knew who we were.
that Hitler knew because he knew after Jesse Owens did what he did.
Yeah.
Now you got men building a Superman in the laboratory, and Jesse Owens run off from him. He like, wait a minute, I thought y'all said these were nigger slaves. How is somebody like that running that fast? Ain't we got men in the laboratory y'all working on?
Right.
And y'all working on Superman in the laboratory. How is he running like he got on concrete boots?
Right.
Well, if you look up, and I did a lot of research on Hitler, but Hitler believed in the scriptures.
Yeah.
And he actually was a defender of the Bible, and his whole ideology was he didn't understand how the Jews got treated the way the Israelites, because they couldn't control how they were born and who they were born to.
Yeah.
So his same ideology was that for Germany. But he wanted to build pride in his nation. He wanted to, because they had just lost the war. The Belgian to the Russians.
Yeah.
And so
The
he was-
Bolshevik Revolution,
War.
yeah.
So he was trying to reestablish some pride and some national pride back in the German people. And so he couldn't do that with having blacks intermarrying with the white Germans.
Yes, sir.
He couldn't present a pure race. And so if you read his book, Mein Kampf, he said, any man, whether he be from France, Germany, Poland, Austria, or wherever he may come from, if he calls himself a Jew, he can only be a Jew outwardly.
Yeah.
For the Jews are a people of distinct racial characteristics.
Yes, sir.
To be a Jew is to be of a black man's religion.
And that's why they had to put that hate on them like that, because of those words, and it was interrupt the Balfour Declaration.
Yes.
Y'all understand? Now look, they took all the scientists from Germany, a Hitler regime, and brought them to America. Why they didn't slaughter them?
And
Because
started
they
Nazi.
had all of that technology.
And that's what started Nazi.
Yeah, yeah. So y'all, let's pick it up just a bit, y'all. We got the last one. So y'all see the head fake with the Holocaust. But y'all look up the Ryan Ambassador. Also, y'all see pictures of them look like just light-skinned brothers. That he said we got to get rid of them too, because they causing a problem, a mixture up here. No, we need a pure race. So y'all, all of that is tied in them 4 years to make you think they went through Deuteronomy 28.
Right.
And not one, you go through that whole Wikipedia, you won't see nothing about children being carried away and sold captive. Anything. And it ain't in there. But the whole deal is just to say what we gonna say and make you think it's in the Bible. Like you hear people say, God say love the sinner but hate the sin. That ain't in the Bible. He say he hates sin. He hate evil. He don't love no sinner. He said a sinner must repent because he hate what sin is. You don't get, he just don't love nobody just practices sin. That's not in the Bible. So they do them same things of smooth soliloquies to us. Just throw things out there and people think it's in the Bible.
Yep.
All you got to do is call on his name and you be saved. You know, we don't have to keep the law.
You ain't got to do nothing.
Well, how you know you doing wrong? How?
God
the
know
law
my
is the
heart.
only thing. God know my heart. Well, he said, I put my laws in your heart.
Right.
Y'all, we only got about 15 minutes, so y'all, we're going to speed this right on up. So y'all, as y'all can see, the head fake, the promise. Genesis 15 and 17, the Balfour Declaration and the Abraham Accord. But you see that accord is mixed with the offspring that didn't get the blessing from Abraham. Keturah's sons, Esau's sons, and Ishmael's sons. But this is the kicker. Right now what's going out there now, the Arabs are a bunch of different people. Esau is the Arab race, but the book of Jubilees don't say that. So if we could real quick, just pull up the book of Jubilees, y'all, and then we're going to hit this last one and we'll be out of here. The book of Jubilees, chapter 20, verse 11. So y'all can do sacred writings if y'all going to Google it. But we had lost books up here as well. The book of Jubilees, chapter 20, and we're going to start about verse 11, and it's going to explain where the Arabs came from, or why we call certain groups of people Arabs. And it ain't got nothing to do with Ishmaelites. It's dealing with them sons of Keturah and some more sons, y'all.
Jubilees chapter what?
20, we start about verse 11. It's in this one actually too. Okay. Yeah. It's right on point in this one.
Yeah, it's right on there.
What you hollering back there about, DJ? What you fussing about, DJ? Oh, don't be acting like you don't hear me now.
He said, I ain't saying nothing. He said, what you talking about, Willis? I ain't saying nothing. Ain't be got
So
no
start 20 and 1.
You go get this one, Elijah.
I hear you.
I tell you, read all that 20.
Okay.
Yeah. Y'all, in this book of Jubilees, if y'all ain't got to use your smartphones real quick, because we like to read together. But at the end of that, it's going to tell us who the Arabs are, so we don't keep chasing these videos that Esau is the Arab. If Esau ain't the white man, then we got 400 more years to do. Because somebody going to have to take the power from him.
Right.
And then if it's another group, we still got to be in captivity to that group for 400 years before we called out.
Boy,
If it ain't Esau, you better pray it is, because we got 400 more to go then.
Boy, that just exhausted my brain, boy. Oh, more, 400 more.
More, and we talking about 2048 or 2049, it's 430 we been here. And now we talking about this Esau ain't Obadiah, what the book of Obadiah talking about.
That's like saying the earth is 1 billion years old.
Not only that, but they got nuclear warheads that can destroy planet Earth 11 times.
So
Who coming after them?
So how many more you think they gonna have if another?
Yeah, I'm just saying, what power is coming behind them?
And this the most wickedest man on the earth right now.
Let's get it, y'all. Jubilees chapter 20.
Thomas has something real quick.
What you got, Thomas? Oh yeah, they
That
took
was the first
Joseph.
slavery.
They took Joseph. So they've been doing that, but they wasn't doing bondage. They were doing indentured servitude, selling you for 7 years.
Right.
That's the difference. Indentured servitude is only 7 years, and then your slate is wiped clean. Bondage means there ain't no ending. It's ending when somebody redeems you, and ain't nobody redeemed us. That's why Jeremiah 3:8, where the Most High divorced us, and then Jeremiah 31:31, he remarries us. But he couldn't do that according to the law, because if we become the wife of another nation, then the former husband can't take you back.
Right.
But ain't nobody married us. Nobody will marry us. They won't let us marry on the application. They'll say French, German, or black, or African American. We're named as proverbs and bywords, something to go by. Why, when they say black, that a term to us but not to black nations? They named their nation.
Right.
Obama is a Kenyan.
Right.
They
Yeah.
know he's from Kenya.
Africans don't call themselves black.
But his wife, Michelle Obama, is an Israelite because her uncle is Rabbi Robinson.
Yeah.
Her uncle knows he's an Israelite, but he's a non-messianic Israelite.
Right.
Her uncle, so they know she's an Israelite. They know the plan. Y'all, let's get this speed up, y'all, because we ain't got but 10 minutes left. Jubilees chapter 20.
Jubilees 20.
We got one question here.
What'd that say?
E. said, Elder, some people think Native Americans are not Israelites.
They're not.
They received some reparations. Have you heard this theory?
Did they receive reparations? They did. They got paid. We didn't. They got reservations. They got casinos. And not only that, but the Oklahoma Charter in the Chickasaw. If you look it up, Chickasaw, Oklahoma Charter. You know what's in their charter? 1/5 of our blood eliminates you from being a part of the Chickasaw Nation.
Yep.
They have the same thing that's in the Constitution. The Indians held us captive. The president had to go tell them, don't you know Lincoln freed them? Y'all got to let them Negroes go.
Right.
We were slaves among them. That's why some of us say we got Indian in us, because we point to the hair. But there's no Indian nations nowhere, even today, that's doing any of the laws, statutes, and judgment, or keeping the commandments. What Indians today are doing tabernacles? Feast of first fruits, unleavened bread, Passover. Where they at today if they like it? Where any culture, any photos showing them participating in any of these feast days? And they got fringes all over, just not on the hem of the garment, they got them on their sleeves.
Everywhere. Everywhere. And then they put
And they worship birds and spirits.
They worship creation, not the creator.
That's what we're talking about, y'all. No, they're not Israel. Their land was taken from them just like Hawaii was taken, just like Australia was taken when they had the Aborigines. Now you see Crocodile Dundee as the ruler of Australia. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all, that's what happened with the power of Esau moving through with the sword. He comes through and takes over land. Jubilees 20, y'all. We got to read this last one. We're going to get on out of here. Let's get that Jubilees 20.
The book of Jubilees,
Yeah.
chapter 20 and verse 1.
What it say?
And in the 42nd Jubilee, in the first year of the 7th week, Abraham called Ishmael and his 12 sons.
So y'all see Ishmael had 12 sons.
Yep.
Hebrew Ishmaelites. Go ahead.
And Isaac and his 2 sons.
Esau and Jacob.
And the 6 sons of Keturah and their sons.
Now, anybody else that's saying Abraham had more wives than these is a lie because he didn't have no offspring. These are the three women that Abraham dealt with. Sarah, who buried Isaac. Hagar, who buried Ishmael. And Keturah, who married these sons.
Right.
These are who Abraham with many nations. There are many nations. They're included, but only one out of all these group right here get that spiritual blessing. The head fake is coming from the other groups. Go ahead, let's get some more.
Verse 2, Elijah.
Hey, you show
Go
bad.
finish up. Go finish
You
up,
show-
brother. Elijah, get to the next.
Yeah, it's just these small words.
Hey, I get it.
Oh,
And
the
he
small word. Yeah, okay.
And he commanded them that they should observe the way of the Most High.
So y'all see that Ishmael and Esau were given the laws of the Most High, right? So where did the Quran come from? Where did Judaism come from? If he's giving them what Noah got off the ark,
Right.
what Abraham got off the ark, that's what Abraham gave him, what Shem gave Abraham, then Abraham gave it to his son.
Right.
Where did these other religions come from?
Catholic Church.
They made them up themselves because they didn't get the promise. Let's get some more. What else to say?
And he commanded them that they should observe the way of the Most High.
Yeah.
That they should work righteousness.
Uh-huh.
And each love his neighbor. And act on this manner among all men. That they should each so walk with regard to them as to do judgment and righteousness on the earth.
Yes, sir.
And that they should circumcise their sons according to the covenant which he had made with them, and not deviate to the right hand or to the left of all the paths which the Most High had commanded us, and that we should keep ourselves from all fornication and uncleanness.
Notice that it's always the fornication. That's the only way, like Numbers 22 through 28 tell you, Balaam told Balak, the only way you can get them, you can't curse them. You have to bring them under fornication, y'all, and that's what we got. We got all our singers, Nasty Red and all them sing fornication.
Right.
All of our stars, R. Kelly, they in jail. Like, they singing fornication and they locking us up for it, y'all. Y'all understand? Bad behavior. Nothing about marriage, the covenant, and serving one God. Just all sing that bad behavior. And it's only on us, y'all.
Right.
We the only one. We the only pimp, prostitutes, and hustler. Continuous movies. That's all the movie we get.
The only nation of people that sing death unto their
They
people.
sing death unto their people and will provide death to them.
Exactly.
Let's get some more.
Give it to you. And if any woman or maid may commit fornication among you, burn her with fire, and do not let them commit fornication with her after their eyes and their heart, and do not let them take to themselves wives from the daughters of Canaan, for the seed of Canaan will be rooted out of the land. And he told them of the judgment of the giants and the judgment of the Sodomites, how they had been judged according to account of their wickedness, and had died on account of their fornication,
Yes, sir.
and uncleanness, and mutual corruption through fornication.
What kind of corruption?
Mutual corruption through fornication. And guard yourselves from all fornication and uncleanness, and from all pollution of sin, lest you make our name a curse, and your whole life a hissing, and all your sons be destroyed by the sword, and you become accursed like Sodom, and all your remnant as the sons of Gomorrah.
So y'all see, that's what Abraham was warning everybody from. Don't let them get you caught up in that fornication.
Right.
That's on that felony list. Like grandson, I'll tell you that 1 Corinthians 6 and 9 and Ezekiel 18 is the felony list. That's what Abraham is telling you. You cannot die being understanding that you on that felony list and have no shame for it.
Right.
That felony, it's a felony, y'all. He said, notice if you on this list, you cannot get into the kingdom.
Right.
Let's get some more.
I implore you, my sons, love the Most High of heaven, and cleave to all his commands.
Some of his commandments.
All his commands. And do not walk after their idols and after their uncleanness. And do not make for yourselves molten or graven gods, for they are vanity. And there is no spirit in them, for they are work of men's hands.
Yes, sir.
And all who trust in them trust in nothing.
Because all them religions we just read under their accords and everything,
Right.
Judaism worshiped the Kabbalah stone. Christianity, the Pope worships statues, the Virgin Mary, and all of them, and the Pope, they're men. Y'all understand?
Right.
And the other one, Islam,
Black
like I say, the Black Rock. All of them are worshiping idols as their gods. Go ahead. What else we got?
Do not serve them nor worship them, but serve the Most High Elohim and worship Him continually. And hope for His continuance always.
His countenance.
Countenance always.
And see, and His countenance will show on your face.
Right.
Yo, you can't wear the Most High because you got on fringes. Fringes was made off of disobedience.
Right.
So
You
we
wear
can't
it.
champion fringes. Well, the widow that had the disease for 12 years touched the hem of his garment, had to be fringes on there. Get out of here.
No.
At first it says she spent all her money at the doctor's.
Right.
Then the chief priest couldn't heal her. Didn't all them have fringes on?
But it says the him.
But I'm just saying, Elisha, but for 12 years, ain't none of them people told her, just put on some fringes.
Right.
No, the Most High told her, He said, faith
in our
has
heart.
healed you.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the fringes. She broke through the crowd. She was still there. Everything that what happened when she touched his garment should have happened if she'd have touched the high priest's garment
Right.
with the fringes on. But it didn't. So faith is that to move fringes out of the way, which were created on a problem. Abraham never wore fringes. Isaac never wore fringes. Jacob never wore fringes. The 12 tribes never wore fringes until we got to the wilderness, and that man made a mistake and went out and picked up sticks. And those fringes are to help you remember the Sabbath. It ain't got nothing else to do with the rest of the commandments. If you got to keep doing this, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know why? Because all the pictures of being led into Babylon, we got fringes on. So we didn't remember to do right, carried away in our law. If you keep championing fringes, I'm not saying it's our custom. It set us apart from the rest of the people. So when we have them on, we should never be caught doing wrong. That's what sets us apart from people. I wear mine because I won't do what that man did. I won't be disobedient. But if you got them on and you disobedient, how you got a jail photo and you got your fringes on? That's a problem, ain't it?
Major.
And if you think you got to have them on all the time, well, we just read fornication is our biggest problem. So you need to have a fringe belt and be just naked with only the fringe belt. That will help you to remember not to have vile affections, not to get into bestiality, not to bring in threesomes and menage a trois. So you would have to have on just a belt or fringe and be naked the rest of the way. And if she say, let's get abnormal, or the term let's get freaky, freaky means to be abnormal. Let's get abnormal. You would have to do like this and just look, we can't get abnormal. That's not allowed. Y'all understand? But when the spirit is in here, when the circumcision of the heart is here, you don't have to keep reading the curse of the law. That came from a curse. Y'all, it's just culture now to let the people know we won't do what they did in the wilderness when we got them on. We can't do what they did in the wilderness when we have our fringes on. We're not telling you not to wear them, but I'm telling you the Israelites, nobody wore them until that man picked up them sticks. And not only that, but it was another piece of equipment given for disobedience. It was called Nehushtan, or what we call the cross that most Christianity wear. The cross was set up in there too for disobedience. He said, anybody look to the cross, the serpents won't bite you no more. But John 3:13 tells us the Messiah going to be lifted up just like that. And you look to him and your sins will be forgiven, just like if you look to that serpent. So how you going to champion fringes off of disobedience and then tell somebody they can't wear a cross? Look, that Nehushtan went all the way into Hezekiah had to destroy it because people will worship it. That's what the Pope have when he come out with that staff, is Nehushtan.
And if you notice, it's bent.
It's bent, yeah. So y'all, what we're saying is bad behavior can't correct bad behavior. Neither could Adam's offspring correct the problem that got us shaping in the iniquity. We can't be born in sin because you can't have what the Bible says, innocence, children that's born in innocence. The law happens when a girl reaches her flower, she got to do Leviticus 15. When a boy able to emit seed and produce life, that's the age of accountability. Because they're able to reproduce life and they know what being fruitful is at that point. And they must do it righteously. Y'all understand? Let's get some more, y'all. Let's finish this up. We're going to get on out of here. What else to say, like?
Where did I leave off at?
You?
In
9.
Nine.
Yes, sir. is.
Do not serve him, but serve the Most High,
Yeah.
Elohim, and worship him continually.
Yes, sir.
And hope for his countenance always, and work uprightness and righteousness before him, that he may have pleasure in you and grant you his mercy.
What he gonna grant you?
Mercy.
Uh-huh.
And send rain on you morning and evening, and bless all your works which ye have worked on the earth, and bless your bread and your water, and bless the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your land, and the herds of your cattle, and the flocks of your sheep.
Now y'all see how this the opposite of Deuteronomy 28. If we didn't obey, the first 14 was if we obey. So y'all, it's just repeating the same thing. Go ahead.
And you will be for a blessing on the earth, and all nations of the earth will desire you, and bless your sons in my name, that they may be blessed as I am. And he gave.
Hold it right there. No, I just want to say this too. So how the world is being blessed by us now is they want to be just like us. See, they make their rear ends fat.
Right.
All the other nations are doing that now. And look, we look at another nation and say, man, that person of another nation, boy, her rear end was fat. And then you say, fat like what? And you say, like an Israelite. See, you always compare it to what you already got. Boy, look, she got that lip full. Boy, them lips look plump. What they look like? The lips of an Israelite woman.
Right.
But we chasing a copycat. But you know what they won't do? They won't do that, what we doing to get themselves in trouble. They like, we'll take all y'all blessings and y'all look. And y'all gifts and everything, but we ain't taking none of them curses. We don't want none of y'all. Keep that. Y'all can have all of that now. Y'all done went too far. Now we'll take the lips, we'll take the butts, and we'll take a couple dance groups and learn like y'all did. We'll put a vanilla ice in there, and we'll do a few of these things like that.
Man, have you seen them Asians break dancing?
Oh yeah, that one group.
Boy, they
Yes,
pop
yes,
locking
sir.
like, boy,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, shit.
But boy, we can go get Turbo now, and man, you wouldn't even think about that.
I
From
know.
y'all remember Turbo and what's the other boy's name?
No, you can't go get Turbo now. He all fat and out of shit.
Oh, is he, boy?
No, you can't go get Turbo.
But let's finish this.
Them Asians are like
Turbo.
They'll light Turbo up.
He said that Turbo now.
Yeah,
go ahead. Let's get some more of this, boy.
Tubby.
You right where it says, and he gave to Ishmael.
And he gave to Ishmael.
Verse 11.
And he gave to Ishmael and to his sons and to the sons of Keturah gifts, and sent them away from his son Isaac.
You see how he keeps sending them other sons away from Isaac. You got to get away from him. He's set apart. Go ahead.
And he gave everything to his son Isaac. And Ishmael and his sons and the sons of Keturah and their sons went together and dwelt from Paran to the entering in of Babylon in all the land which is toward the east facing the desert.
Yes, sir.
That's Iran and Iraq.
Yes, sir.
And these mingled with each other.
What they do?
Mingled with each other. And their name was called Arabs and Ishmaelites.
So that's what they are. They're not Esau. This was a mixture of Ishmael and Keturah's sons, or the Arabs.
Right.
And Ishmael is the father of the Arabs. That's how they got their strong nation built. But this ain't got nothing to do with Esau. This was Keturah's sons and Ishmaelites that mixed together and became the Arabs.
No, Keturah was Egyptian.
No, Midianite.
Was
she?
she?
Yeah,
No,
she
I
was a
think she-
Midianite.
'cause I thought-
Hagar was an Egyptian.
No, Hagar was, you're right.
Keturah was a Midianite.
You're right.
Just like Moses' first wife, Zipporah,
Yeah.
was a Midianite, Jethro's offspring.
And that's why those two nations are some of the largest Arab or Muslim countries.
Yes, sir. So y'all, we got 8 minutes. We're gonna run through this last one. So y'all, we right now at where we at now, the gathering of Israel. So we just gonna read what the script called. There's nowhere in the Bible it says rapture. There's nowhere in there it's called the great gathering. Everywhere you read, you only gonna read. Now, when the Lord gathers Israel together and bring them back, gathering of Israel. The fake side, the head fake, got what they call the law of return. So, if you read the law of return, Wikipedia that, so we can see, is it going to match up with what we're going to read in Jeremiah 31, because the blessing ain't left. All of the blessing we keep seeing for Isaac and the sons of Israel ain't left when we going to get into that Jeremiah, into the promise coming. Y'all going, sis? Okay.
All right, the Lord returned.
Yeah.
The Lord returned.
You're in Wikipedia.
Yes, sir.
What it say?
It's an Israeli law.
And what kind of law?
An Israeli law.
An Israeli. That has nothing to do with Israelites.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's an Israeli law passed on July 5th, 1950, which gives Jewish people or Jewish people with one or more Jewish parents and their spouse the right to relocate to Israel and acquire Israeli citizenship. Section 1 of the law of return declares that every Jew has the right to come to this country as an OLEM.
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah,
immigrant
yeah.
In the law of return, the state of Israel gave effect to the Zionist movement aimed for the establishment of Israel as a Jewish state.
A Zionist movement. Y'all, ain't no law things in the Bible about that. That's what they're saying is, man, that's our land, man, the hell with them. They ain't do right when they was hurt. Right. That's why they scattered. Why should we give them back? They won't obey. They keep their homeborn slaves. They've been servants in Egypt, Assyria, Babylon. And now they're in America, and you want us to give them back the land for what? They just gonna get kicked out again?
Obadiah says that, hey, something ain't right, something ain't adding up, because Obadiah said there's a people in the land that shouldn't have returned to the land after their brother was cast out.
Yes, sir. That's what he say.
Shouldn't have touched the substance of his brother.
The ones who
when
could
he
escape.
left out.
Yes,
so
sir.
who's the brother they talking about, and who's the one that's in there now?
Because we sure ain't got no substance, do we?
But he said your brother.
Yeah. And who's
He
the
said
only
you
brother?
shouldn't enter into your brother's land.
Yes, sir.
When he was cast out.
Yes, sir.
You shouldn't have put your hand on his substance.
Yes, sir.
So who are the two brothers they talking about?
Let's get to great gathering. Jeremiah 31:31. That's in Old Testament prophecy. Hebrews 8:8, New Testament prophecy. And then we'll hit the Galatians. And this is the law of return, how it's going to happen. Because he got to make a covenant with us first and take us through and bring us back. The covenant saying we obey, we're going to be tried and tested.
Right.
Yo, we just can't go back believing any type of doctrine. You're going to have to be on the gospel of Messiah. John 3:13 says if you don't believe in the Messiah, you condemned already. Yes, Moses said in Deuteronomy 18, another one coming out of our brethren. You better listen to him. Joshua 10th chapter, he said the same thing, that the host of the angels, he said, you with us, Joshua? He said, no, player, you with us. I'm the captain of the host of the army. And Joshua took his shoes off and bowed down.
Bow down.
So it's always been there that the Messiah was going to come and fix this. Melchizedek order always been in. The order of Aaron was just in the wilderness, and then it went out when Messiah was crucified. And we went back under Melchizedek. Melchizedek order, Adam was the first Melchizedek high priest. Passing on passing on to Abel. Abel was killed by Cain. Then it passed it on to Jared. Jared, it got down to Shem, to Noah, and then to Shem. But if you read this, the second Enoch, chapter 70 and 71 about Noah's brother had a wife who had a virgin birth. And it talks about the order of Melchizedek. They went and got the robes of Melchizedek for him before the flood. But in there, how they explaining that is they're saying he's going to be a representative of the chief Messiah who's coming at the end of days. He's not the one. We're just telling you a virgin birth ain't unnatural. It's happened before. It happened before the flood. This ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new on earth happening. Ain't nothing new. It was just when Christ came, that was the difference. A virgin, he had to be born like Adam to fix Adam's problem. Who was Adam's dad?
The Most High.
Who was his mother?
Earth.
Who was the Messiah's dad?
The Most High.
Who was his mother? Earth, because that's where she come from, Mary, so to speak. So both of them, the only true sons of God is Adam and the Messiah. Those are the only true. We are offspring of the sons of men. But the true sons of God are the Messiah and Adam. And the Messiah was before Adam. Those are the true sons of God. Everybody else's descendants are sons of men. So Christ had to come back, never broke the law, never listened to Satan, tried in Matthew 4 on the mount by Satan, and never broke a law. So now he's the redeemer to fix that breach where Adam failed. Born the same type of way, without corruptible flesh, because he didn't break the law. That's why his flesh was like it was. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Corruption can't fix corruption. Christ did not corrupt after 72 hours. Corruption takes place in 72 hours. Rigor mortis set in, you like this. Rigor mortis never set in on the Messiah. Everybody else though. So let's get these last three. Jeremiah 31:31, Hebrews 8:8, and we're going to close out. And we're going to see the law return. Jeremiah 31:31, who got it?
I get it.
Okay.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 31.
Yes, sir. You need to back it up, Warner. That's good.
Lord, that's good right there. Shabbat shalom, bro.
Shabbat shalom. Okay.
Verse 31.
Yeah.
Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
So we ain't seeing no other covenant with no other group, not this covenant that they just made, that Donald Trump made. And when you look up the Abraham Accord, Donald Trump is in the midst of it. The orchestrator of trying to get that peace agreement. And then he say he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. So he in it for a fake covenant just to get his name lifted up. Go ahead, what else it say?
Verse 32.
Yeah.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their father in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenants they break.
Yeah.
Although I was an husband unto them, saith the Most High.
And you read that Jeremiah 3:8, he was married to us. This is the only doctrine that the Most High or God marries his people. Every other doctrine is just harlot doctrine. Go ahead.
Verse 33.
Yeah.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days.
After those days, the last days. Go ahead.
Saith the Most High. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their heart.
Right.
And will be their Elohim. And they shall be my people.
Yes, sir.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Most High, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them.
Yes, sir.
Saith the Most High. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
And then he goes on to talk the first line, give him a son for light by day. So he telling you ain't gonna need that no more. I'm gonna be y'all's son and moon. I'm gonna be what it was the first 3 days of this creation coming out of that war in heaven. For the first 3 days, there was no sunlight. The sun and the moon were created and the stars on the 4th day. What is them light in them other 3 days before the sun and the moon were created? So that's what we gotta get back to. So Hebrews 8:8, y'all, and we're just gonna read this last one, we're gonna close on out. Hebrews 8:8. And we're gonna see the same covenant through the New Testament. Ain't nothing changed, y'all, with the same people. So y'all don't go for the head fake.
All right, family, reading in the book of Hebrews, chapter 8 and verse 8. And it reads, For finding fault with them, he
I tell you what, bag it up to 7.
To 7?
Yeah.
Verse 7. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second.
Yes, sir.
For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Did we just read that Jeremiah 31:31? The same exact thing, word for word. So the covenant ain't changed. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Not according to the covenant that I made with their father in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
Yes, sir.
Because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Most High.
Yes, sir.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Most High. I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their heart, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to the unrighteous, I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more.
So y'all see the same exact writing. So y'all gonna close out with this 2 Thessalonians, and it's gonna tell us about the gathering. Y'all, there's Isaiah 59 and 60 about the gathering. So y'all, there's many scriptures. There's Zephaniah 8. There's Zechariah 3, the where it say 10 nations say, we know y'all Israel, we're going to go back with y'all, but we just going to get right to the point, because the gathering ain't going to take place till after the Antichrist. That's the final test for us, y'all, to see if we going for the okie doke, because the Antichrist going to let you have your way for the first 3 years. Then he going to flip the script and go crazy on you. And he going to require a mark of the beast. What you got?
They got Trump on Facebook at church, and then they got him on stage talking about Jesus Christ and everything. I was like, wow, dude, trying to
Well, look,
convince.
you're going to be convinced when you hear war like that, and he got power, and people seeing powers, forms taken from people. That people are scared. And he's messing with money. He's messing with Medicare. So you'll join up because of fear, y'all. We just can't have fear. The Most High got us.
That's right.
But he got us shook like COVID. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, y'all. We're going to close on out. If it ain't, it is the closest thing to the mark of the beast that we have, because it's the tree of good and evil. Yeah. Right, the chip is in your hand right here. And look, it's up here because have you been finding yourself saying, how did it know I was finna Google that? How did that know that? I wasn't going to put that in, and it's in there. Well, it's not reading your mind. It's just from the past thoughts, y'all. So look, they have their book of life. They're tracking everything we doing, everything we Google. They say they're on the Messiah's team. Everybody else who's doing wickedness with this, y'all, that's why it's called the tree of good and evil. That's why Apple iPhone, there's a bite out of the apple on the back. What y'all think that means? They're always saying Adam and Eve bit the apple, right. But apple ain't even in Genesis. The word apple, but I'm just saying, they are letting you know, so it's without excuse on Judgment Day. What you gonna say? You can find your people you ain't discovered on the tree of good, on the good side. You can GPS wherever you want. Your destination is on the right. But also there's a wicked side to this too that you can Google that they're tracking. Big black.
That's because it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Just like it was a choice in the garden.
He gonna make you do nothing. He gonna give you a choice.
He gonna give you a choice, y'all. You cannot lie on the devil and say the devil made me do it. That's a lie. The devil don't make you do nothing. He entice you. Go ahead, bro.
Shalom, everybody. My name is Jonathan in Israel.
Yes, sir.
I'm visiting the different. I'm visiting the different congregations, assemblies, or whatnot.
Yes, sir.
And what I would call the awakening.
Right.
Basically, just trying to find out what everybody is teaching. One question I would like to ask this guy right here, or teachers, elders, or whatever you go by, about the ministry of reconciliation. Find out what is being taught about being reconciled back to the Most High.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So maybe sometime, man, gather or if you do a message concerning that, or how one is united back with the Most High, how they come back into this new covenant.
Yeah.
And what you're speaking about.
Yes, sir.
How is that? What does that process look like?
Well, because it's dealt with in dispensation times, like we came back together in the wilderness and 3,000 was dropped, but Joshua and them came across, everybody 20 years and under, they was reconciled. So now we're in the last days and it's mark of the beast. So Revelation 16 tells us, it said, those that are being reconciled to God refuse to take the mark of the beast, and they keep the commandments of the Most High. That's what we got to understand, because Matthew 5 tells us, if your commandment keeping is the way of the Pharisees, or like we have men that call themselves high priests today, but they are after the order of Aaron. He said, if you don't go above that, you have no part in the kingdom. You're chasing men worship. So what we're trying to do is get back to Adam before he sinned, keeping the commandments right before us, because they're right before us, and then you'll be set apart from the other nations. Now that may cause your family to be broken up because they don't want to keep it. They like what they doing, and the enemies become the foes of your own household. That's where most of our trouble will be. But right here, you're gonna like it. Okay, so this is what we're saying. The reconciliation is this time period because it's test time now. We're at the end of the world. We got men who's handling nuclear warheads that could end our life tonight if they start launching. Because you can't recover from nuclear holocaust. Let's get it straight. The radiation gonna kill you. If they drop one in Kansas City, we got 45 minutes to get ourselves ready to die. That's when that blast get here and contaminate us. 45 minutes we have if one hit in Kansas City. So y'all have to understand, Chernobyl in Russia was a leak in 1983, and they say it's still uninhabitable for 20,000 years. That was a leak. So we're in the last days. This is what we have to focus on. Just the last days and being in the wilderness of people. We got to come back to the commandments because the law has become a strange thing. And that's these 5 books of the book and the commandments that the Messiah give us in the books. If any one of these books we use, break the law, get rid of it. But it's a law keeper because it's always been there. That's what we have to come back to. Keeping the law. In the intercessor, the only person able to go to the Father for us, who never mentions the Father's name, and the Father never mentions his name. He just say Father, and the Father just say that's my son, but never call each other the name because the love is the commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments, for that's the love of God, keeping my commandments. So we have to get to the love of keeping his commandments to become neighborly, y'all. There's no other way to love your brother unless you treat him like yourself. That's listed in the commandments. And our high priest is Yeshua HaMashiach that died on the cross for us. He's the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. We got to know our priesthood too. That's where the problem at. Hebrews 7. It's not the law change. It said there was a necessity of change because the priesthood changed. Right. We went back to Melchizedek, and that's a law that you have to have up here. You got to take the note off the refrigerator. You got to stop saying, thou shalt not commit adultery. Sooner or later, you got to pull that off and put it up here. So that when you go out into the world, you remember, not have to come back home and read again. Oh man, I did that in Egypt. I shouldn't have done that. No, you got to take it with you to Egypt. Right. The same way we're speaking of fringes. Fringes are a curse of the law. Not saying they're bad, but what I'm saying is they came off of disobedience, so we can't look at those like they the salvation. The Messiah is our salvation, and if we don't get ready for resurrection, that's the mindset too. Go ahead, bro.
So the group of the elders, man, I'm understand the invitation, but I would like to come together and study particularly on the ministry of reconciliation.
Yes, sir.
Because knowing who we are and trying to do, you know what I'm saying, to come back to the law and not understanding how we are to be reconciled back to the Most High.
Yes, sir.
Because the Messiah, he told those ones, that was Yehuda in the land.
Yeah.
That was us still in the land.
Yes, sir.
He said that, you know, God could make descendants of Abraham from these stones. Right?
Yes, sir.
Genealogy does not give us that, but reconciliation does, right? So it's very, very important. It's imperative. Salvation important. That we know how to teach
salvation
and not teach the ministry of reconciliation and to perform that so that we can begin reconciling our people back to Yahweh.
And like I said, so what you're saying in a nutshell is the only thing from Genesis to Revelation that we have to be reconciled with is his law, because it say it's his love.
How?
Just studying the law. Like, look, there's nothing in here that you can say that nobody never walked in my shoes. Every law that's broken, or if you say I can't keep the commandments, we just ask you which one. But what I'm saying is how to keep the laws is to study it and not go for the head fake. The world is going to teach you that the Bible is saying something else, but the Bible explains itself. Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm just extending that olive branch.
Oh yeah, yes sir. So whenever you want to set that up.
Most of the time when I'm asking somebody that question, I get everything except the ministry of reconciliation.
Yes sir.
So I'm just saying, I'm offering this branch to the elders that I teach it.
Yes sir.
So let's come together and look at the ministry of reconciliation so that we can begin bringing our people into the body of the side so that they can have that protection, so that they can come from under those curses, right?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know what's involved with reconciliation is the biggest thing is called belief. So
Let's study.
we'll study together, and we'll get into Romans 11 too, because it tells you that a branch got broken off. We got a natural branch, we got a branch broken off, and then we got a wild olive branch coming off. It says the natural branch can be reconciled. They can come back in if they continue not in unbelief. It's a belief problem, bro. That's where it lies. Everything is believing God is the truth, and His word, His representative, the Messiah, is the truth. You have to believe that. There's no reconciliation if you don't believe that, because John 3:13, if you don't believe in the Messiah, you condemned already. Right. So ain't no reconciliation for non-messianics. There's none. You already out the box. It ain't even talking about you part of the 2/3. We're focusing on that 1/3, the remnant. Jeremiah 30, and we can come together, bro. So whenever you need to, we'll exchange some numbers and we'll get something up. Hallelujah, bro. Yes, sir. But y'all, let's just run this last one. 2 Thessalonians 1, y'all, we're going to close on out. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. I'm sorry. We're going to close on out, y'all.
All right, family.
But yes, sir, brother. Y'all, we can definitely do that. Yakanan.
We're in the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, and verse 1.
Yes, sir.
It reads, "Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Master Yahweh Shah Mashiach,
Yes, sir.
and by our gathering together unto him."
And by our what?
Gathering together unto him.
So this is them saying, look, if you want to know how we're going to be gathered and when we're going to be gathered, this is what we have to get through. Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
"That ye be not soon shaken in mind,
Uh-huh.
or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us,
Yeah.
as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand.
Uh-huh.
Let no man deceive you by any means,
Let no man hit you with the head fake. Go ahead.
for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first."
So we got to have an unreconciliation going to happen first. There's going to be a great falling away before we can reconcile. The falling away going to happen first, and what's going to be left is the believers. The falling away is going to happen first. That's going to test, the Antichrist going to test everybody's heart.
Right.
Right off the top. Because everybody want to go to the kingdom ball, everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want to do what?
Die.
No, nobody want to die, and that's what he teaching resurrection. Your heart have to be fixed in the resurrection first before we take anything else, because we could die this evening, we could die tomorrow, and then where do we stand then on Judgment Day as far as the reconciliation is considered? At that point, reconcile yourself to the Messiah. The first thing to do is to accept resurrection, because that's the only miracle or deception that the Antichrist won't be able to do. The only one he won't be able to do is resurrection. He will never be able to bring nobody back from the dead. He'll make it look close with AI, but he will not be able to resurrect the dead. That's going to be the only thing, because it said if it were possible, he would do what?
Deceive
The very elect. So we have to be, our mind have to be focused on what is in the future for us, and it's the Antichrist coming that's going to show signs and wonder, that's going to trick a lot of people. But we got to stay at home and look at what was already promised to Abraham about the Messiah. But go ahead, read that last one. Go ahead.
"And that man of sin be revealed,
That man of sin must be revealed, the Antichrist. Go ahead.
the son of perdition,
The son of perdition. We look up perdition, it means worthy of the lake of fire. Go ahead. Judas went to perdition. Go ahead.
who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God,
Uh-huh.
or that is worshipped,
Uh-huh.
so that he as God sitteth in the temple of Yahweh,
Uh-huh.
showing himself that he is Yahweh.
Yes, sir.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Uh-huh.
And now ye know what it withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
You're going to run it down to verse 10. Uh-huh. Verse 11. Go ahead.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Uh-huh.
Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Uh-huh.
And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Most High shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
That they might be saved. Go ahead.
And for this cause, Yah shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
See, so pleasure in unrighteousness is what's saying. That's what we're saying. If we don't reconcile back to the laws before we sin to correct obedience, he'd rather have obedience than sacrifice. The laws are broke down, every law, to four sides. Like it says, thou shalt not kill. Well, you have other groups that say, well, that should say murder. No, it don't. Numbers 35 explain what he means. Thou shalt not kill illegally. If somebody break in your house and threaten to rape your wife and children, you have to put them down. You have to kill them to stop that act. But that's not an illegal sin. Yes, the Most High don't want us to ever have to be doing it because he called us to peace. But you have to do that. That's when it says there's a time to kill.
That's right.
If you're not supposed to kill, you just ain't supposed to kill, but you can't kill illegally. That's why when Numbers 35 come in, it explains what murder is versus self-defense, vehicular homicide. It say if you lay in wait and bust a man's head and rob him, you are a murderer. But if you happen to kill somebody and didn't know they died, hold them down just a little bit, sis, with the holler. You know, if you accidentally do something, didn't nobody died, or you know, you didn't put a railing around your house and somebody fell off, you're supposed to have a battlement up there. You're responsible for that, but it's not murder. Just like fornication is the top, but underneath fornication you have adultery, you have bestiality, you have same sex, you have illegal intercourse, but fornication is the banner. You have to know each one underneath it. That's why we say the felony list. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, not getting into the kingdom. It lists, you cannot be this, you cannot be that, you cannot be this, you cannot be that. Don't even think about coming to judgment day if you practice that with no shame. I'm not talking about people getting caught up in the stronghold. I'm talking about saying, well, he just gonna have to accept me like this. Okay, you can play that if you want to. So that's all we saying, bro, but we gonna close on out and get on out of here. But y'all, what we had to end was because Russia and China and Gog and Magog, and they trying to fix this up. Y'all read Revelation 20. It's going to talk about just the land of who's running Gog at that time. It's not saying that it's Japheth's seed. It's whoever running. It's a land prophecy. So, and then y'all read Ezekiel 38 and 39. Ezekiel 38:1 start off the land of Gog and who's ruling it when the Messiah come by. That don't say who the people are. It's just saying who's ever in control of that land mass. When this happens, they are fulfilling that land prophecy, not people prophecy. Because the land of those people going to come against Israel. Y'all understand? So y'all, that's what we have to be concerned with. And like I say, brother, we gonna exchange numbers and we'll sit down and we'll discuss this. Absolutely, brother.
What was that Ezekiel again, Dennis?
Ezekiel 38 chapter and 39th chapter, and also Revelation 20 will match up with that. And also, y'all see in Zechariah the Feast of Tabernacles being performed as the feast for all the nations that come up to Jerusalem. Also, you see in Jubilee 16th chapter that Abraham done the Feast of Tabernacles before we ever got to Egypt. We were doing the Feast of Tabernacles. In the 15th chapter of Jubilee, he's doing the day of Pentecost, first fruits. So the commandments, everything was before Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai was just reconditioning us, getting our mind back right, but our mind we should be off the milk now.
What was that Zechariah thing, please?
Zechariah 14.
Yeah.
All right, family.
And I say Jubilees 15 and 16 show the feast days, tabernacles and feast of first fruit. Y'all, we turning toward holy Jerusalem where our help comes from, wherever we at on planet Earth. Let's get it, y'all.
All right, family, we're going to get this closing prayer, and it is with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son.
Yes, sir.
Our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer.
Yes, sir.
Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, family. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 142nd chapter, it reads, I cried unto the Most High with my voice. With my voice unto the Most High did I make my supplication. I poured out my complaint before him. I showed before him my trouble. When my spirit was overwhelmed within me, then thou knewest my path. In the way wherein I walked, have they privily laid a snare for me.
Yes, sir.
I looked on my right hand and beheld, but there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me.
Yes, sir.
No man cared for my soul. I cried unto thee, O Yahweh.
Yes, sir.
I said, thou art my refuge and my portion
Yes, sir.
in the land of the living. Attend unto my cry, for I am brought very low.
Yes, sir.
Deliver me from the persecutors, for they are stronger than I. Bring my soul out of prison,
Yes, sir.
that I may praise thy name. The righteous shall compass me about, for thou shalt deal bountifully with me. Hallelujah! Say that!
Yes, sir. All praises to the Most High, y'all. If y'all got a shekel or two, we greatly appreciate it. But, bro, we get a little contact information going, and we'll set something up. Yes, sir. Absolutely. So, like we, we talk about the ministry.